the rest of the media, as this emergency mindset emerges again, the rest of the media, especially the Lutyens media, they need to develop a spine, because we know how to hit back when it comes to our endless and indefatigable battle for the truth. Unsurprisingly, the most important decision of the I.N.D.I.A. alliance, now they are starting off by grandly declaring that they will boycott 14 anchors, yours truly included. They think it's a great move. They think this will put pressure on journalists to stop questioning things like the declared intent of many of their leaders to eliminate Hinduism, to eliminate and annihilate Sanatan Dharma and uproot Hindu traditions from the soil of our great nation. I am the one who exposed his intellectual inadequacies. They put me in jail with murderers and rapists and underworld dons, and they tried their best to make me.
Women's reservation bill to be a reality by 2029. Criticizing historic bill for the sake of opposition. Why does the opposition want to be on wrong side of history? Debating tonight at 9 p.m.
ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ ಹೊಸತನದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯ ಚಳವಳಿಗೆ ನಾಂದಿ ಹಾಡಲಿದೆ. ಯಾವ ಭಾಷೆಯೇ ಆಗಿರಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಪ್ರಸಾರ ಅಲ್ಲಿನ ಜನರ ಮೇಲೆ ನೇರ ಪರಿಣಾಮ ಬೀರುತ್ತದೆ ಹಾಗೂ ಅತಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ತರುತ್ತದೆ. ನಮಗೆ ದೇಶವೇ ಮೊದಲು. ದೇಶಕ್ಕಿಂತ ದೊಡ್ಡದು ನಮಗೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮ ಆದ್ಯತೆಯೇ ದೇಶದ ಒಗ್ಗಟ್ಟು. ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯ ಜನರಿಗೆ ಧ್ವನಿ ಆಗಿರುವುದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಅತಿ ದೊಡ್ಡ ನಂಬಿಕೆ. ನಮ್ಮದು ಕೇವಲ ಒಂದು ಚಾನೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಮ್ಮದು ಒಂದು ಚಳವಳಿ. ರಾಜ್ಯ ಮೊದಲು, ದೇಶ ಮೊದಲು. ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.
India halts visa process for Canadians. Canada asked to cut down High Commission staff. Canada completely on the back foot now. Debating tonight at 10 p.m. India comes down heavily on Canada. Safe haven for terror called out. India makes it clear, national interest first. Debating tonight at 10:30 p.m.
ಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ವೋಟ್ ಹಾಕಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರ ಕೊಟ್ಟವರು ನೀವು. ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ತೆರಿಗೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಸಂಬಳ ಕೊಡೋರು ನೀವೇ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ರಾಜಕಾರಣಿ ಎನ್ನುವಂತ ಸೇವಕ, ಅಧಿಕಾರಿ ಎನ್ನುವಂತ ನೌಕರನಿಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟವರು ನೀವೇ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸೌಲಭ್ಯವನ್ನ ಕೇಳೋಕೆ ಹೋದಾಗ ಅವರು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ, ನಾವು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅಂದು ಬಿಗ್ 3, ಈಗ ಹೊಸ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕನ್ನಡ. ಇದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಧ್ವನಿ.
From the Delhi studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on the debate.
Arnab Goswami on the debate at 9. Presented by Amity University. Powered by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group. The new Kia Seltos. Century Ply. Club Prime. PolicyBazaar.com. And JK Tire.
Good evening and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. The Narendra Modi government has delivered. The Women's Bill in some time will be a complete reality. It is just to be passed in the Rajya Sabha, and with that 33% of all the Lok Sabha and all states and union territories are now reserved for women in all the legislative bodies. Ladies and gentlemen, this moment is a moment for India, a moment that signals to the world that what the parliaments of the UK, the US, France, Germany and so many other nations have still not been able to do, India has done. This is a moment not to squabble about the naming of the bill, or why OBCs are not included, or why there was not a special quota for minority women, or why it should be post-delimitation and post the census, all of which have no legal basis firstly. But even so, I say it's not a moment to get into it. This is a moment to see women as women, not a dissection, not a subclause, not a reservation within reservation, not for qualification under sub-qualification moment. This is not a vote bank within a vote bank moment. This is not a constituency within a constituency moment. If we keep looking and bifurcating things like that, then that mindset, ladies and gentlemen, will be exhausting. What kind of medieval thought is this? What kind of archaic politics wants to divide women? This reservation, ladies and gentlemen, is independent. India's biggest gender-based reform for Parliament. Can't we just see it for that? And I won't go into how these same India Alliance members stalled and blocked and literally pushed and shoved and tore versions of this bill on the floor of the House through the decades of history. Whatever they have done shamefully, they have done. But today history is recording this momentous occasion. And today the question is, even today, will we not record what the opposition has done? How instead of standing up in full support, the India Alliance members inside the House, even today, nitpicked, even today squabbled, even today hung on to the politics of it, till the very last moment, with Sonia Gandhi leading the pack as always yesterday, conveniently not being there in the House during the vote, after pouring the whole credit to Rajiv Gandhi, when the reality is it was Deve Gowda who first introduced it and Narendra Modi who got it passed. But as we celebrate this moment and history makes its notes, ladies and gentlemen, there has to be a thought as to why this opposition in every momentous occasion of reform, economic, social or parliamentary, has been on the wrong side of history. And will being on the wrong side of history when it comes to national interest take this alliance anywhere at all ahead of 2024? That is the bigger question tonight. We're waiting for history to happen. It might happen while my program is live. Debate number 1, the historic Women's Reservation Bill is all set to be passed in the Rajya Sabha. Debate number 1, and then with that it becomes a reality. Debate number 2 this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Smriti Irani, of course, is joining me in some time on that. And India is giving it back to Canada with back-to-back diplomatic strikes. We're debating that at 10 p.m. And here are the headlines this Thursday evening on the debate tonight.
With the indirect election process and the way in which preference is shown in the voting, it's just not going to be possible to do any reservation. Let us keep that outside of this discussion, although it's well-meant. I mean, the well-meaning suggestion has come in, but that's not going to be workable if it is not a direct election.
We are on the cusp of history. The Women's Reservation Bill will be set to put to vote in the Rajya Sabha soon after a historic debate. BJP women workers to hold mega celebrations across the country on Friday to thank the Prime Minister for the Women's Reservation Bill.
शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम, मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आया कि ये लेजिस्लेशन है या किसी तरह का धार्मिक ग्रंथ की एक उसका शीर्षक है.
From the name of the bill to its timeline, the opposition continues to find flaws and be on the wrong side of history. India hits back hard, suspends visas to Canadians after Trudeau's support to Khalistani terrorism.
सेफ हेवन दे रहे हैं कनाडा में, वहाँ पे हम चाहेंगे कि उनके कैनेडियन सरकार सेफ हेवन न दे, और जिनके अगेंस्ट ऐसे टेररिज्म के चार्जेस हैं उनके ऊपर एक्शन ले, और वहाँ आइदर उनके वहाँ एक्शन ले या हमें यहाँ जस्टिस फेस करने के लिए यहाँ भेजे.
India calls out Canada as a terrorist safe haven, raises questions over the free hand in Canada institutionally the government gives to organized crimes and terrorism. And sources say Khalistani terrorist Nijjar, who is being supported by Trudeau, was in touch with a Canadian intelligence agency before his killing. Ladies and gentlemen, the bill that will change the political landscape of India is all set to be passed in the Rajya Sabha. The Women's Reservation Bill is a historic move, and ideally all parties must be unanimous and speak in one voice for gender parity in electoral politics. But the opposition has a list of criticisms on hand. This is the political face-off, unfortunately, which happened today, and then we'll debate.
Closer to women's reservation, the Prime Minister was gracious in his thanks to MPs.
इस पवित्र कार्य को करने के लिए आप सबने जो योगदान दिया है, समर्थन दिया है, सार्थक चर्चा की है, सदन के नेता के रूप में मैं आज आप सबका पूरे दिल से, सच्चे दिल से आदरपूर्वक अभिनंदन करने के लिए खड़ा हुआ हूं, धन्यवाद करने के लिए खड़ा हूं.
The bill was passed in Lok Sabha with 454 votes for, and history recorded that 2 AIMIM MPs voted against women getting their due in Parliament. In Rajya Sabha too, the debate got off to an equanimous start, and with some legitimate contentions being answered.
मुझे आशा ही नहीं विश्वास है कि आज यहाँ भी ये किसी भी बाधा के बगैर 128th कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल अमेंडमेंट बिल पास होगा. आखिर हमने महिलाओं को रिजर्वेशन देना है, पर किस सीट पर रिजर्वेशन मिले, किस सीट पर ना मिले. अब मैं अगर सरकार में हूं और मैं वायनाड को अगर रिजर्व कर दूं तो, अमेठी को कर दूं तो, इसके लिए 2 चीजें आवश्यक है. पहला कि सेंसस हो, और उसके साथ साथ फिर पब्लिक हियरिंग, क्वासी जुडिशियल बॉडी के माध्यम से पब्लिक हियरिंग हो, सीट्स निकाली जाए, नंबर निकाला जाए. हम ये मानते हैं कि आज अगर आप बिल पास करते हो तो 2029 में महिला आरक्षित महिलाएं हमारी एमपी बन करके आ जाएंगी, ये बात पक्की. लेकिन अगर आप आज पास नहीं करते हो तो 2029 में भी नहीं आना, यह भी तय है. इसको भी हमको समझ लेना चाहिए. इसलिए इफ दिस इज द वे, एंड इफ दिस इज द ओनली वे, एंड इफ दिस इज द शॉर्टेस्ट वे, दिस इज द वे जिस रास्ते से हमको जाने की आवश्यकता है.
With the indirect election process and the way in which preference is shown in the voting, it's just not going to be possible to do any reservation. Let us keep that outside of this discussion, although it's well meant, the well meaning suggestion has come in, but that's not going to be workable if it is not a direct election.
However, not long after, some of the arguments reverted to type.
हम बड़े उत्साहित थे कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी की सरकार ने इस बिल को लेकर आया है, लेकिन जब इस बिल के अंदर में देखा तो हमें यह पता चला यह बिल तो धोखा देने वाला बिल है, महिलाओं को बेवकूफ बनाने वाला बिल है। ये बिल महिलाओं को रिजर्वेशन नहीं दे रही है, ये महिलाओं से रिजर्वेशन ले रही है। मैं बताता हूं कि कैसे करेगी।
प्लीज काइंडली चेक धोखा और जो शब्द आपने इस्तेमाल किया वो संसदीय है, बोलने में संसदीय शब्दों का ही इस्तेमाल करें।
प्लीज यू मे टेक द एप्रोप्रिएट डिसीजन।
ये काम आपका है देखना, मेरा नहीं। आप संसदीय शब्दों का ही इस्तेमाल करें।
नारी शक्ति वंदन अधिनियम, मुझे तो समझ में नहीं आया कि ये लेजिस्लेशन है या किसी तरह का धार्मिक ग्रंथ की एक उसका शीर्षक है।
The intent in running down what should be a historic moment for the nation is not new. The trait was also witnessed during Article 370's abrogation.
1948 से 1948 में जहां यूनाइटेड नेशंस की मॉनिटरिंग हो रहे हैं वो क्या इंटरनल मामला है? नंबर 1। शिमला एग्रीमेंट, लाहौर समझौता हम लोग किए थे, वो क्या इंटरनल मामला थे? ये बायलैटरल। क्या जम्मू कश्मीर इंटरनल मामला हो सकता है? ये तरह तरह की बात है। आपने सबको धागिया उड़ा के हमें समझना चाहिए।
The BJP president alluded to questionable arguments in a moment of his speech that's since gone viral.
लीडर को लीडर बनना पड़ेगा, ट्यूटर से नहीं चलता काम। ये ट्यूटर्ड स्टेटमेंट से नहीं चलता है काम, और वह भी ट्यूटर अगर कोई लीडर हो तो भी समझ में आता है। ये एनजीओ को लेकर के आ जाते हो, जिन एनजीओ को जिनको आता न पता न सता, कोई चीज जानकारी नहीं, वो आपको समझाते हैं और आप बोल करके सोचो आई वाज शॉक्ड एंड शैटर्ड एंड शॉक्ड।
So with India's women all set to get a reservation in Parliament, who's being constructive and who's trying to go down in history for the wrong reasons? Let's debate.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are all very fortunate to be in the times where we are going to see this bill being passed while the debate is on. I'd like to welcome Reveller Sridhar Reddy of the BRS, Piyush Joshi backs the AAP, Waris Pathan, All India MIM, Gyanendra Mishra, political analyst. I have Swagata Shah, who's a leader of the NCP. She's with the Ajit Pawar faction. Ajit Pawar group. Actually, there's no NCP outside of Ajit Pawar, so anyway. Chavi Rajawat, former Sarpanch of the Gram Panchayat Soda village in Rajasthan. Thank you very much, Chavi. She's been a pioneering woman leader. Sumitra Goenka, right-leaning policy and political analyst. I'll be joined by Smriti Irani in a while and Aparajita Sarangi of the BJP as well. First, Chavi, to you. You are seeing some criticism come in by those who have to criticize things for something. Now we have, for example, Owaisi who voted against the bill, by the way, saying this is anti-Muslim. Others are saying, why is there no separate quota for OBCs? You've been a politician on the ground at the panchayat level. What is your response to people like Owaisi and others who are still being critical?
I think at every attempt that's been made for this bill to be passed, there has been opposition, there has been criticism. So I don't think it is something new that we are seeing, and perhaps it was expected. However, I'm going to look at the positive of it, which is that it is finally back on the and being tabled, and I'm glad that Lok Sabha has passed it. I'm just hoping it finally gets the green signal that it deserves and gets executed as it ought to. Because as we know, as of today, women in India, we are a population of almost 50%, and all parties are fully aware of the fact that we are an important vote bank. But not just that, we have also become key decision makers, not just in urban spaces, but also in rural India, where women are making their own decisions. They are no longer easily following what men may think, even when it comes to casting a vote. While traditionally, the male member would tell the family, including the youth, who to vote for, and they blindly would follow. But as of today, women and the youth are making informed choices, and that's the beauty of it, which only highlights the fact that women are becoming more active and want policy level changes to happen, keeping women voices in mind. And for that, it is pertinent that women-led development happens, for which we need more women in leadership roles all across. And I hope this comes through. I'm being very optimistic. Speaking of the delay that a lot of people are talking about, as of now, there's a lot of digital data that is already available. There are Aadhaar cards, which again is in a form, the census, for example, I think will not and should not take as long as people are expecting it to take. So I personally am very optimistic, and I think we should just be celebrating the fact, and parties all across should come together to, if you really want to see the nation move forward, we have to ensure that women are also participating in that process of policy making, because not only will we be voicing the issues of women, but we will also be voicing the requirements and agendas of the youth and the children, which often are most closely understood and monitored by the women of the nation.
I thought Sumitra, thank you for that, Chavi. And Sumitra and Swagata Shah also, I want to bring them to the debate. Piyush, I see you go up with, if you don't mind, I'd like the very well-spoken women activists and leaders who are on the program to have the first say. Isn't it very unfortunate, Swagata, that even when Parliament has delivered this historic reform for women in political representation in the temple of Indian democracy, Asaduddin Owaisi will go down in the history of this country as the man who was against women. He opposed the bill. He tried to bring in an element of communal politics, caste politics into it. Isn't that truly unfortunate? I mean, of all the times Owaisi keeps doing this, but how do you think women of India will react to what Owaisi did in the Lok Sabha? And Owaisi and others like him. Swagata, maybe you can go first.
Yes, I will go for it first. I am really proud and happy for women quota, 33% woman arakshan, whatever bill has been passed is amazing. It is going to give opportunity like girls like us in coming years. And anyone who is having an optimistic approach towards politics or towards helping the nation, they will definitely not raise a voice like this. Why do they need quota in quota again? Arakshan mein arakshan kabhi suna hi nahi hota. I mean, we never heard this. Quota doesn't need another quota.
Louder, please.
Quota doesn't need another quota. Women reservation is the biggest bill, and I don't know, it is maybe the negative approach of Owaisi sir. He always brings out something negative in whatever positive is happening.
Yeah, truly, I agree with you. It's so, I mean, I couldn't really believe it. If you are basically, you see what happens is, Sumitra, if people are basically anti-women, they can say we are anti-women. Anything you do for women, we are against it. You want to make sure women cannot be divorced by saying triple talaq, we are against it. We want nikah halala to continue. We want archaic medieval practices to carry on in the name of religion. We want targeting of women. We want all that to happen. We don't want them to have rights. We don't want them to enter places of worship, etc., etc. We don't want them to enter Haji Ali Shrine. You can say it, that we are anti-women. But as has been said here, Sumitra, this time it was extreme. Yeah, please, you can tell Waris directly, actually. Yeah, Waris, please listen to this. Yeah.
I would like to add the point that I think there is something called as a revolution, and everyone really needs to understand. For a longer time, women have always been suppressed, and that is absolutely wrong. Caste politics is not something which should come in women reservation. Women reservation is a different topic. Caste politics, caste quota is a very different topic. I think Owaisi sir and people like him are mixing all things together. They are unable to see the positive side of the bill.
Now, can I just make a quick interjection?
Very sad.
Yeah, so I just wanted to come in.
I'm extremely disappointed.
Yeah, I'll just come in here.
Let Sumitra go first. Yes, Sumitra. Sumitra, please. 3 verses 3.
Can I complete, please? Gentlemen, can I complete, please?
No, listen to the women today to start with, Waris. Yeah, please.
First of all,
Okay.
So I think, Arnab, this particular bill which was introduced in the parliament, I think this sets a precedence that which has never ever happened before for women, because in India we have seen that there are very few women in the policy making space. This will ensure equity and ultimately it will lead to equality. My point of view is, if you see the world average, it is around 26.5% of women who are in the parliament in the world. We are moving towards becoming a economic superpower, and today we have only say around 14 or 15% women in parliament, and we have less than 5 or 6% in some of the legislative assemblies. This is very unfortunate. We have to move ahead. See, we as women really do not need any kind of reservations. We can do everything on our own, and we have proved that. But at the same time, we need equity, and this particular bill is going to ensure equity. More and more women will come ahead who are not from dynasty backgrounds, who are not from political families, and they will choose politics as a career. They will come into policy making as a career, and it will benefit the entire nation. Now, what you told in the initial comment that, the politicization of this particular bill by saying that, Muslims have to come into this, OBCs have to come into this, I think they are just playing into the vote galleries. There is no need to divide women into Hindus, Muslims, SC, ST, OBC at this point of time. Let us all embrace this bill together, move ahead, and these are technical things which can be sorted out later on. But yes, these people want to appeal to a particular vote bank, and that is the only reason that they are talking about this. Now, why does reservation need to be brought in to get women into politics? If you actually look at how many seats did DMK give to women, they only gave 2 seats to women. How many did NCP give?
Sumitra, can I just cut into that, because I'm joined by Smriti Irani. I'll just go across to her and come back to you. Smriti.
Sure.
Smriti Irani, just wait a minute, Piyush, I'm coming back to you. Let me throw a couple of questions to the Union Minister for Women and Child Development who joins me now. Ms. Irani, thank you for joining me. Truly historic. We're waiting for the passage any time now in the Rajya Sabha. So before I get you to respond to some of what the opposition is saying, I just want your thoughts on this moment. It's been a long journey towards this, and a large part of this journey has also been parallel to your own stellar political career, which is almost over 20 years now. So you've seen it through and through. Your thoughts at this moment?
It is indeed a moment of jubilation, personal satisfaction, because many of women who champion this cause are women who are not amongst us today. Sushma Swaraj ji was vehement, in fact, many a times defiant in her pursuit of reservation for women. We saw Sumitra Mahajan, who again repeatedly won from her constituency over 6 to 7 times, but recognized that women, especially who come from economically and socially challenged backgrounds, needed that additional support and hence demanded the reservation. It is indeed a day for me to recognize and remember Bal Apte-ji, somebody who gave me great personal strength as a senior ideologue within the Bharatiya Janata Party. I also think that when in my own political journey began in the BJP as an office bearer because of the reservation the BJP gave to women within the organization, the first ever. When the president was Shri Rajnath Singh ji, the committee members were Kiran Rijiju and Kishan Reddy ji, who are ministers today in the Modi government. And most importantly, can you imagine, Narendra Modi ji was in the organization when the BJP passed the national resolution demanding that we do this within our organization and support the women's reservation bill. For that gentleman to see the journey come full circle from his organizational strength, giving women more space, to now his government ensuring that women in this country have this historic opportunity to serve our nation as lawmakers and as policy makers. So indeed, it's a personal journey where I've witnessed all these stalwarts and I think last but not the least, it is a day to remember the contribution of Atal Bihari Vajpayee. So for me, yes, personally, it's a great moment of joy and satisfaction. I think, Arnab, this reservation is something very many and interviews have spoken about the 27-year journey I think there's an anomaly in that thought. When our nation gained independence, at that time, women had reached out to policymakers and those who are in the Constituent Assembly to say they wanted reservation then because they foresaw what was about to happen in the years to come. For some reason, their request was not heeded to. So today is also a day to pay homage to those women who wanted this thing done for women 75 years ago. Today is also a day to pay homage to women across party lines who fought for it and were spectators to many a fracas on the floor of the house and outside. Women who withstood taunts ki parkati aurtein hain. Women who heard very, very unbecoming statements from men in politics who said कि गांव की औरतें ज्यादा सुंदर नहीं है इसलिए उनको राजनीति में मौका नहीं मिलेगा. Many women heard a lot of nonsense, and so it's a day to even take my hat off, the proverbial one, to such women.
Absolutely. Well, I must also just add there that I think that viewers, you all know that Smriti Irani, who's now the Women's and Child Development Minister, and has stellar political career, has herself been taunted and targeted so many times, but she has just steered her political journey and her public life in a most admirable way, and many women look to you, many people of this country look to you with a sense of great admiration. I must say this, Smriti Irani ji, that there are a couple of questions which have been raised, and I want to use the opportunity to get your response on those. Briefly, the first is, Smriti Irani, the argument is if the government is truly sincere, why don't you bring it on for 2024?
I think
I
that
want you to answer
the Congress
that. Why not
Party
2024? Why not immediately?
Given my, firstly, I'm grateful for the opportunity to come on the debate with you. I started many debates with you. So given that I have paucity of time and I have to rush to the Lok Sabha, the Prime Minister is about to come there. I must say 2-3 issues. One, the viewers of Republic are very well ordained in constitutional practices. Please look up Article 82, which has defined the 2026 timeline for readjustment and realignment of seats. Till such time that time period does not come to fore, we cannot realign, readjust seats and provide for that reservation. I think either the Gandhi family has not read the constitution or have fallen back on their old practices of not adhering to constitutional provisions. Second, Arnab, if you permit me,
I will, because you said that
there is another issue of two gentlemen, particularly in Lok Sabha, who said we will not vote because you're not giving reservation to Muslim women. I can only say this, that the Constitution does not provide for religion to be as a basis, as a foundation for reservation to be given. So these are non-starter issues, and deliberately they are being projected by the opposition. But look at the compulsion now, the bitter pill, especially that the Gandhi family has to swallow, that they have no other option but to support the bill, as has been pronounced by Prime Minister Modi. So I think it's a great day, but the day beckons even now that I go back to Lok Sabha and fulfill my duty.
One point before that, JP Nadda said, what if Wayanad and Amethi come in the reservation list? Your thoughts on that? Well, that was as a quip, but he made that comment, sir.
And please don't give nightmares to people in the Congress party. You're always somebody who gives them some new issue to worry about. I can only say this, that irrespective of what the Congress hopes, I think projection after projection, survey after survey by many political analysts and consultants have emphatically said that तीसरी बार it will be Modi Sarkar. So the Gandhi family need not worry where they fight from. What they need to worry is whether they'll win. And what the people of the country are throwing up in every survey is most definitely not.
Well, congratulations once again. I think you have to head back to the House. Thank you very much, Smriti Irani.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you, Arnab. My best wishes to Republic.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, having kept everyone waiting on the other side, I'd like Waris Pathan to start with his responses. You see, there is not an issue. The Constitution does not allow for reservation on grounds of religion. in Parliament. Why do you want to force it? If you're against the bill, you can say so, Mr. Pathan.
Well, Arnab, first and foremost, nobody is against women's representation. Nobody is against women's empowerment. We all are for that. But the bill which is introduced by the BJP government, the Women Reservation Bill, is not inclusive. It is exclusive. It is anti-OBC women's. It is anti-Muslim women's. There, kindly see to it, the population
How
of
is it
Muslim women in the
anti-OBC?
country is 7%.
How
And
is
what
it
is the
anti-OBC?
percentage presented in the Vidhan's 0.7%, because the OBC will not be getting the reservation. I would like you to extend to me the same courtesy which you extended to my co-panelist Mr. Arnab Goswami. So in the meantime, just kindly keep quiet and listen to me what I want to say. Thirdly, kindly look at the...
So, but there's a
they say
factual
Vandana.
mistake
They talk
I need to
about
point
Vandana.
out
What
most
Vandana is Mr.
respectfully
Modi
to you,
talking about
that you have made a very
of the
big
women
factual
have
mistake which should be
lost,
responded to.
their job.
You made a very big factual mistake, Mr. Pathan.
No, what is the factual
Can I just take 1 minute to tell you what your mistake is, sir?
Women's and why are you against the Muslim women's? May I ask a simple question to you, Mr. Goswami?
Okay.
Answer to my question, then I will go forward. Why are you against OBC women's and why are you against
Okay, can I answer your question in that case?
Why don't you want to see that there are...
Can I answer your question in that case?
Why don't you want to see that they are politically empowered?
Sir, can I answer your question in that case?
Simple question.
Can I answer your question, sir?
Yeah, please, sir.
Can I answer your question, sir? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Rakhi Rathore of the BJP also joining us. Sir, what you are saying is bizarre because you are saying give OBC reservation within the women's quota when the fact is, and I really thought that as a lawyer you would know this much, at present there are only 3 categories in Parliament: General, SC and ST. SC is 15%, ST 7%. OBC reservation is not a category of reservation yet in Parliament.
Not there.
How can women reservation extend to it? What are you talking about? Mr. Pathan, are you so uninformed?
Okay, what about 150 of the presidential? No, I'm
How many seats did AIM give to
order,
women candidates in the last election?
Why do you surpass that? How can you surpass that? Why don't you implement that? You are lying before the nation. Kindly see 1950. This presidential...
Sir, I don't lie, sir. These are strong language from you, sir. I'm not lying. I'm saying that you are wrong. You are lying, sir.
Of the Muslims. That is why you talk about... I am not talking wrong, sir. They don't want the Muslim representation. That is why in 2014 Modi did not give single ticket to the Muslims.
I'll let Rakhi Rathore respond to you, Mr. I'll let Rakhi Rathore respond to you, sir.
Single Muslim cabinet minister.
I'll let Rakhi Rathore respond to you, sir.
First allow me, then they will respond. Kindly let them listen to me. I am asking a question to her because you don't have the guts to answer to my question. So definitely ask her. Yes, Madam Rakhi, kindly answer to my question.
Sir, I just proved you wrong.
How many Modi government BJP gave to the Muslims in 2014 and 2019? And how many Muslim cabinet ministers are there or ministers are there or Muslim representation is there in the present cabinet of Prime Minister Modi? Answer to my question. And why are you against the OBC Muslim women and why are you against the Muslim women? Simple
Mr.
question
Pathan,
I'm asking. Answer to me.
Mr. Pathan, now that you've spoken for 9 minutes uninterrupted, can Rakhi Rathore respond to you? Yes, please, Rakhi.
Look, Arnab,
please go ahead.
The government is not... yes, and look who is asking the question actually. The party who has never promoted a woman. I would just want to ask another question to you and a counter question to you, that how many women are there in your... in your internal party team? You don't have any women, but you are asking questions to us, so I will reply that. But the fact is that Modi ji has never, discriminated anyone regarding their caste or their creed. In fact, we are not that kind of, party, that kind of government who used to say that हमारे देश के resources पे सबसे पहला हक मुसलमानों का है. In fact, if 13 crore tap water connections are provided, there is no discrimination between whether they were provided for Hindu or for Muslims. For all PM Awas Yojana also, the houses which were built were not discriminated according to the caste and creed. So there is no discrimination. Sabka saath, sabka vikas is the point on which we always follow. And for this bill, I want to just point out one thing. Arnab, actually what happened yesterday.
Let Rakhi complete. Let Rakhi complete. Let her complete.
Let me complete.
Let her complete, sir.
Yesterday, Arnab.
We'll have to extend this debate into 10 o'clock, I think.
All the parties.
Another one, yeah.
Arnab, actually yesterday we got the support of all the parties who didn't support UPA's bill in 2010. But they supported us because they know that Modi ji hai to mumkin hai. They know that yes, we are going to implement this bill on grounds, and that is why we'll get a support from Rajya Sabha also right today only. So we know that we want to ensure that there should not be any technical problem, there should not be any legal issues regarding implementation of this whole bill, and that is why we want it to be implemented on 2029, because we need 2026 census, and then after that delimitation commission will be made, and after his report,
I want
the whole
to
process will be done. So I think intentions are clear.
I want to remind everyone.
Implemented on ground.
Led by Modi prior to the 2024 elections.
May I get?
Allow me now. I listen.
May I get?
Kindly give me a counter.
May I get those who've not spoken yet? Piyush, please. Dr. Piyush Joshi. Dr. Piyush Joshi. Dr. Piyush.
Few seconds.
Can you tell that how many
Just
women
give me
are there
10
in
few
your team? You just state the number of women.
Can I have Rakhi
you have
Rathore volume louder, please? Both volume louder. Can't hear in the studio.
Woman candidate, please.
Yes, how many women candidates are there in your team, in your internal team? Because there is a provision in BJP that we have introduced 33% of women candidates. Women workers always work in cabinet, in the committee of our internal team.
Allow me, madam. After the delimitation is over, then the bill will be implemented. Don't fool the nation.
Yes.
Don't fool the women.
And delimitation will be done on digital platform right now. This is a new Bharat. This is not that old Bharat that it will take time. Digitally,
why did you not do
the
the
whole
census in 2021?
census will be done. So I think it will not take much time.
Delimitation will
Within
take a long time.
2029, the bill will be implemented on ground, and you'll see that 33% of women, they will have their participation in policy making and decision making of the country. So this will be implemented. These kind of doubts were raised during abrogation of Article 370, during construction of Ram Mandir. You, in fact, doubted the number of vaccine doses we administered during Corona time. So it is your doubt, it's your mentality that you don't trust anyone, but Modi ji has a movement.
Sir, you are always on the wrong side of history. The way Sonia Gandhi and the Congi groups are all against women's reservation, people of this country are watching. Now, Dr. Piyush Joshi, why are you with them? Why are you people who are on the wrong side of history?
Two people stood with
Will you be with them even when they oppose the Uniform Civil Code?
This will be remembered.
How far will you be with them, Dr. Piyush Joshi?
Just let me clarify one thing. It is very clear because when you look at the division of votes in the Lok Sabha, it is very clear that who has supported the bill and who has gone against the bill. So we very well know that except for two MPs, I think each and everyone has voted in favor of the bill. So that's there. Okay, so just it is, the tagline above my head was showing that questioning Modi government. Well, I'm not questioning Modi government as such as much as I'm questioning the media. Because the media, despite the opposition support to the bill, wants to paint the opposition as anti-women as such, which actually it is not that. The opposition parties have certain concerns about the bill, have certain worries, and that is for the government to to respond to and to satisfy them. If the government is successful in doing that, I'm sure that the bill will sail through because
so this is all filibustering.
Just two MPs. So why paint the opposition as anti-women? Because it favors. Basically, Modi government did not expect that the opposition is going to support.
Because you called it a jumla.
They will sail through it.
Because Dr. Joshi, if I may.
Just let me clarify once again.
If I may, and nobody is really putting words in the opposition's mouth. But what I'm saying is that the Congress called the bill a jumla, and I think that is a complete disservice.
Women vote share, nothing else.
Because the only thing is that Mrs. Smriti Irani, the Honorable Minister, tried to answer to that particular question unsuccessfully, though, because waiting for the delimitation puts a big question mark on the government's intention. If the government's intention were not malified, they would have tried to rush things through and probably instituted the bill before the next general
Sir, I
election.
think that okay, I'm on that point. I'm Dr. Joshi, thank you. Dr. Joshi,
correct,
1 minute. No. Yeah, okay. Ms. Rathore.
Yeah, Arnab, I just want to make a point. In fact, there would be some technical problems. In fact, what Home Minister Sir has also stated in Parliament that we want to get it done in a very smooth manner, and we don't want any kind of technical issues while implementation of this bill, and that is the reason we are waiting for 2026 for census, and this time the census will be done on digital platform. This is a new Bharat, and this will not take time.
Why did you forget it when you implemented demonetization? Did you
Each and every
from
issue
those
has a
mistakes
different
then?
kind of legal points actually, and we have to make sure that we have to consider these kind of issues. But I want to make a point that as BJP has started giving 23%
No, 1 minute, Ms. Rathore. Mr. Prime Minister is speaking and cutting live full frame.
Definitely a pressure on other party also.
Full frame.
अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण इस विधेयक पर विस्तार से चर्चा हो रही है। करीब 132 माननीय सदस्यों ने दोनों सदन में मिलाकर के बहुत ही सार्थक चर्चा की है और भविष्य में भी इस चर्चा का एक एक शब्द आने वाली हमारी यात्रा में हम सबको काम आने वाला है और इसलिए हर बात का अपना एक महत्व है, मूल्य है। मैं सभी माननीय सांसदों ने अपनी बात के प्रारंभ में तो पहले ही कहा है कि हम इसका समर्थन करते हैं और इसके लिए मैं सबका हृदय से अभिनंदन करता हूं, हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। ये जो स्पिरिट पैदा हुआ है, ये स्पिरिट देश के जन जन में एक नया आत्मविश्वास पैदा करेगा और हम सभी माननीय सांसदों ने और सभी राजनीतिक दलों ने एक बहुत बड़ी अहम भूमिका निभाई है। नारी शक्ति को एक विशेष सम्मान सिर्फ विधेयक पारित होने से मिल रहा है ऐसा नहीं है। इस विधेयक के प्रति देश के सभी राजनीतिक दलों की सकारात्मक सोच होना, ये हमारे देश की नारी शक्ति को एक नई ऊर्जा देने वाली है। एक नए विश्वास के साथ राष्ट्र निर्माण में योगदान देने में नेतृत्व के साथ आगे आएगी। ये अपने आप में भी हमारे उज्जवल भविष्य की गारंटी बनने वाली है। आदरणीय सभापति जी, मैं इस सदन का समय ज्यादा लेता नहीं हूं। मैं सिर्फ जो भावना आपने व्यक्त की है उसके लिए आभार व्यक्त करता हूं और जब मतदान होगा तो मेरा आप सबसे आग्रह है कि ये उच्च सदन है, चर्चा भी उत्तम करने का प्रयास हुआ है। अब मतदान भी सर्वसम्मति से करके हम देश को एक नया विश्वास दें। इसी अपेक्षा के साथ मैं फिर एक बार सबका हृदय से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं।
I shall now put the motion regarding consideration of the bill to vote. The question is that the bill further to amend the Constitution of India as passed by Lok Sabha be taken into consideration. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think ayes have it.
सर्वसम्मत से हुआ है, ये स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं।
Point well noted.
very heartening together. The entire House, the upper house, the House of Elders, is unanimously united on this point. Honorable members, in spite of such unanimity, there is a constitutional prescription. Under Article 360 of the Constitution, the motion will have to be adopted by a majority of total membership of the House and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of the House. I'm coming. Just wait. I'm going as per procedure. Have patience. You can't put the cart before the horse. Present and voting. Division. Let the lobbies be cleared. Secretary General will now explain the voting procedure. Would you take your seat now? Honorable members, it is a constitutional prerogative. Please, I am so happy Mr. Chidambaram has given right counsel, and that is for a change. Secretary General will now explain the voting procedure.
Honorable members, for your convenience, I shall explain the voting procedure by automatic vote recording system. It may please be noted that each member has a multimedia device, MMD for short, at his desk. This MMD has an integrated mic and voting console containing 3 buttons: yes for ayes, no for noes, and abstain on the right hand corner. There is also a separately situated button, Vote Secure, provided on the bottom left hand corner of the multimedia device. In order to further facilitate the members, I will now explain the step-by-step method and precautions to be followed by each member in casting their votes. Step 1, I will announce that the voting process will start now. Step 2, the voting process starts and ends with a gong on a large screen hall display in the 2 corners of the chamber. The countdown time of 10 seconds in reverse counting order will be visible to the members on their respective multimedia devices. Members can cast their votes by pressing the Vote Secure button available on the bottom left-hand corner of their devices and keeping it pressed. Simultaneously press one of the yes, no, abstain buttons of his or her choice. For easy identification, these voting buttons have been indicated on your devices as green for yes, red for no, yellow for abstain. A word of caution here, the Vote Secure button should be pressed only after the gong sound. I repeat, only after the gong sound. Step 4, each member must keep the Vote Secure button as well as one of those yes, no, abstain buttons pressed simultaneously for 10 seconds. That is, at the time of closing of voting to register a valid vote. Step 5, once the valid vote is registered, the LED of voting button pressed by the member will remain on, lighted up on their devices. At the time of casting the vote, if the members observe that the LED of yes, no, and abstain buttons are simultaneously blinking, it means that their vote is not being registered. Therefore, they shall immediately release the voting button pressed by them without releasing the Vote Secure button and have to press again within the 10-second period to register a valid vote. Step 6, During the voting period, the member can change his or her vote at any time. The button pressed at the time when the voting period is ending, that is, at the 10th second, will be recorded. In case either one or both the buttons are released prior to the close of the voting period, the vote will not be registered. If a member finds that he or she has voted by mistake by pressing the wrong button, he or she can be allowed to correct the mistake through a correction slip devised for the purpose, provided he or she brings it to the notice of the chairman before the result of the division is announced. The correction slips will be distributed to the honorable members who desire to correct their recorded vote by the officials of the Secretariat.
Yes.
I will.
The Secretary General may now explain voting procedure in Hindi.
माननीय सदस्यगण, आपकी सुविधा के लिए मैं स्वचालित मतांकन प्रणाली द्वारा मतदान प्रक्रिया समझाऊंगा। कृपया ध्यान दें कि प्रत्येक सदस्य की मेज पर एक मल्टीमीडिया डिवाइस एमएमडी लगाया गया है। इस एमएमडी में इंटीग्रेटेड माइक और वोटिंग कंसोल लगे हैं, जिसके दाईं और कोने।
Ladies and gentlemen, this is live coverage from the Rajya Sabha, where right now what is being explained is the whole voting process, and there are certain technicalities why there has to be a division of votes on the women's reservation bill in the Rajya Sabha. Though the Prime Minister appreciated the unanimity, and the unanimity is completely there, the division will take some time. I'll take a break, but don't go away, because right on the other side of the commercial break, we'll be back with the breaking news. The passage of the historic women's reservation bill in the Rajya Sabha, which means it'll be through in both houses of parliament. Back in a few minutes.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates: IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
Unsurprisingly, the most important decision of the I.N.D.I.A. alliance, now they are starting off by grandly declaring that they will boycott 14 anchors, yours truly included. They think it's a great move. They think this will put pressure on journalists to stop questioning things like the declared intent of many of their leaders to eliminate Hinduism, to eliminate and annihilate Sanatan Dharma and uproot Hindu traditions from the soil of our great nation. I am the one who exposed his intellectual inadequacies. They put me in jail with murderers and rapists and underworld dons, and they tried their best to make me compromise. And I want to say to them today, as they bring out this laughable, ridiculous boycott threat, bring it on. The people of this country are with us, with me. But today the rest of the media, as this emergency mindset emerges again, the rest of the media, especially the Lutyens media, they need to develop a spine, because we know how to hit back when it comes to our endless and indefatigable battle for the truth. Unsurprisingly, the most important decision of the I.N.D.I.A. alliance, now they are starting off by grandly declaring that they will boycott 14 anchors, yours truly included. They think it's a great move. They think this will put pressure on journalists to stop questioning things like the declared intent of many of their leaders to eliminate Hinduism, to eliminate and annihilate Sanatan Dharma and uproot Hindu traditions from the soil of our great nation. I am the one who exposed his intellectual inadequacies. They put me in jail with murderers and rapists and underworld dons, and they tried their best to make me compromise. And I want to say to them today, as they bring out this laughable, ridiculous boycott threat, bring it on. The people of this country are with us, with me. But today the rest of the media, as this emergency mindset emerges again, the rest of the media, especially the Lutyens media, they need to develop a spine, because we know how to hit back when it comes to our endless and indefatigable battle for the truth.
Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Division. Secretary General.
Honorable members, I am starting the voting process. The voting time starts now. इधर विजय
हाँ वो दे रहे हैं सब दे रहे हैं कुछ मेंबर्स का रिकॉर्ड नहीं हुआ ये रिकॉर्ड रख लेना 171 याद रख लेना क्योंकि ऐड करने पड़ेंगे इसमें इलेक्ट ऐड
फर्स्ट वोटिंग लिख दीजिए ऊपर फर्स्ट वोटिंग लिख दीजिए ऊपर पेंसिल से
Ladies and gentlemen, with that moment, the Women's Bill has become a reality. With the entire upper house coming together in total unison across party lines despite their differences, 171 ayes. And if you're watching this broadcast, I can only say this, that India has delivered a long-awaited promise. And what a start this is, ladies and gentlemen. If you are tuned into Republic today, I think you will agree with me that what a start this is to the proceedings in this incredible new building of Parliament. The entire Parliament has come together, and of course the Narendra Modi government has shown the political conviction to pass the historic Women's Bill in Parliament. I shall go live once again for the audio from Parliament. We'll stay full frame with this great moment. Ladies and gentlemen, a much delivered reform. History is recording that now everyone has been forced to speak in unison on this. Even those who had differences for a very long time have understood the mood of the country and the mood of the House. And we're waiting for the numbers to be shown on the screen, but I think what this moment really reflects is decisiveness. There's a clarity and a decisiveness in policy making. What this moment also shows is that it is wrong to say the country is not ready for big reform. The country has always been ready for big reform. Sometimes leaders are not ready for big reform, but when leaders show the political will, the rest follows. Big moment. And you're watching this live on Republic with this feed coming in from the Rajya Sabha, where the chair, Vice President Dhankar, is going through some details of the legislative process, and the Vice President fully aware that the passage of this bill, which will reserve 33% of the Lok Sabha and all state assemblies for women, is a great moment in history. It's a tremendous moment in history This is the most important reform for women in political representation in the entire world. For this is the world's largest democracy. And several countries, other great democracies, have not been able to do this. Neither US nor UK, Germany, France, Sweden, Norway, South Africa, Australia, Japan. The list goes on and on. None of these countries have signed off on a quota in parliament for women. But India has. India has. And that is the most important thing. This is a moment you should be watching tonight with your whole families and everyone around you, and recording the moment that this is the biggest gender-based parliamentary reform. We should all be proud today, because in our country, we have passed the most important gender-based parliamentary reform. So that's also huge. Viewers, what a bill this is. A bill that is 27 years old. 27 years. 27 years after being introduced by Deve Gowda. And 27 years being blocked by sexist tactics, regressive politics. It is finally going through. Finally going through. And we should at this moment forget the fact that there are some people who call it a jumla, some people who call it meaningless, because those are meaningless comments. The important thing is, push came to shove as far as voting is concerned, nobody could stand against it. Some people wanted to, but nobody truly could. I'm pausing and going back to the commentary to give you a full sense of what the mood is inside the Rajya Sabha at this very, very historic moment as voting is underway on the women's quota bill in the Rajya Sabha. This is a special session of Parliament, a totally new chapter that is opening up in the history of this country. We are all on the brink of history, and though we know it's a foregone conclusion, you too must be watching this, waiting for that moment to turn into a moment of fruition. So we know that it is a done deal, but sometimes such are things that we wait for the done deal to actually become the deal and get known about. A lot of excitement today, a lot of excitement, and we are staying live with the Rajya Sabha. It's a moment of a few seconds now. We're going to stay with this. Ladies and gentlemen, 5 minutes past 10. The screen, any? Actually.
इनका इंटरनेशनल कुछ ये है
Parliament, crews outside Parliament, crews inside Parliament. Ladies and gentlemen, Prime Minister is having a chat. BJP President JP Nadda was on his right. Home Minister Amit Shah is there in the front row. And it's just the numbers we're waiting for. If you see these two big screens on the left hand side, these are two very large LED screens which have been put. I think each of them must be about 30 to 40 feet high at least. Huge LED screens on which the numbers are going to be projected. So that should be easy when it happens. Viewers, I would like to remind you as we wait for this that this bill comes after the Triple Talaq bill, which was the last big gender-based reform, also brought in by the Modi government. And that was for the people, and this is for the house of the people. Revolutionary Reddy has been waiting for a very long time. Let me get his comments in. Mr. Reddy, first of all, thank you for being cooperative so far and waiting for your turn. It's almost an hour. Your thoughts as we wait for this passage?
First, Arnab, let me congratulate all the women of this country on behalf of the BRS party on such a wonderful occasion and historic movement where both houses passed the bill, and in Rajya Sabha there is complete consensus, there is no difference, and different opinions apart and reservations apart. Now this country stood united to pass this bill, and all political parties have come forward and extended their support. And I wish and the women from all sections. Now we have been talking about OBC, SC, ST. Okay, fine. For some moment, let us keep the political interests side. But we wish and hope that all sections of women come forward and become a part of the politics and become representatives in the respective legislative assemblies and the parliament, and show a different direction to the country and to the world, and what India is all about, what Bharat is all about. So at this juncture, BRS congratulates, and BRS party, as I wanted to remind facts, we have been a strong advocate of this bill for a long time. Immediately after formation of the separate state of Telangana, our assembly, under the leadership of Honorable CM Shri KCR, passed the unanimous resolution and sent it to the Union government for taking necessary steps. After that, in the past 9 years, Telangana gave maximum priority to the women empowerment and welfare. I have told many a times, even on your forum, on your debate, Arnab, we are one of the very few states implemented 50% reservation to the women in all the local bodies, right from panchayat to ZP chairpersons, even in the nominated positions like agriculture market committees and so on and so forth. And we gave 33% reservation to women in jobs, and even including the police force. So there is a lot which was done, and on welfare side, our government has extended support to all those families which are deserved to be getting support from the government in terms of for their marriage of girls of the poor families in the name of Kalyan Lakshmi and Shadi Mubarak. Close to 13 lakhs women were given support for their marriages. So that's how the BRS party has supported and did all its best for the women empowerment and their welfare. And I wish this bill will bring in many more changes. As you say, it's the biggest reform for women empowerment in this country, and BRS party wholeheartedly congratulate and thank all those who have supported to make this bill a reality.
That's excellent. Thank you so much, Ms. Reddy. As you know, we are all awaiting. Viewers, what you're seeing, can I just go to that full frame, is this majestic Hall of Parliament, which was inaugurated some time back. And when you see this Hall of Parliament and the effort that has gone into the making of it, and the fact that history will always remember that these majestic halls of Parliament, the new Parliament of India, were constructed at one of the moments of greatest challenge, but also the moment of greatest triumph of the country during the COVID years. And it has taken a lot of effort and clarity to create a legislation that is fitting for this new Hall of Parliament in its first ever sitting. And I think sometimes history is recorded as a postscript. This is one of those moments when we will all remember many years from now, when we'll ask ourselves, where were you when the women's bill was being passed? We'll remember this moment. Sometimes as history is being etched at that very moment, we do not understand the full significance of it. This is one of those moments that we will live to recollect and tell our future generations, this is when it happened. For a time is not far, I truly believe, where a country which at independence had 5% women in parliament will have more than 50% women in parliament. We should not see numbers as a limitation. And I know there are a lot of people who are saying, soon we will come to 40%, 50%. I'd say, why wouldn't women be more than 50% in the legislative assemblies and in the Parliament of India? That is true representation for women. It is not representation when one woman rises to the top and the others are disenfranchised. This is true representation. I have with me at this very important moment Gyanendra Mishra, who's coming on our channel as a political analyst, and got him here for the first time on my program. Mr. Mishra, you've been watching this. Your thoughts as we wait for the passage?
Thank you, Arnab, for calling me or having you on your show. Obviously, it is a momentous occasion for all of us, and I really congratulate every citizen of India, including the women of India. And we feel fortunate, of course, that we are witnessing in history making. It is my firm belief that bringing more and more women into politics will enhance the quality and character of politics, which is unfortunately, going down for many years. Women with their tenacity.
I think I'm getting an audio track from Parliament. I'm going across.
Tolerance.
Abstention 0. The motion is adopted by a majority of the total membership of the House and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of the House present and voting. A historic achievement. Congratulations. Honorable members, it is only a coincidence. मन कंचन है, यह संयोग ऐसा है. हिंदू रीति विधि के अनुसार माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का आज जन्मदिन भी है. मैं उनको कोटि कोटि बधाई देता हूं. We shall now take up clause by clause consideration of the bill. Clause 2 stands part of the bill. There are 9 amendments. Would the honorable members like to move them? All right. Clause 2 stands part of the bill. 9 amendments. Moving. Dr. John Britas.
Yes. And
moving. Numbers 48 to 52 by Professor Manoj Kumar Jha. Moving.
Move their individual amendments. They will be either passed by or not passed, but this is all technicality. The women's bill has been passed by 214 votes and 0 votes against. I think Mr. Owaisi, you can show some sportsman spirit and ask your representative Waris Pathan to at least smile today. Are you seeing the way he's responding, Chavi? I think it's very disappointing. Chavi, your thoughts as the bill has been passed here today, and I think everyone who stood against the bill should show some sense of realism, because this country is never going to be the same again, is it?
That's true, and I think this is
I'll let Chavi
historical and monumental.
Give our message to everyone and then come to you.
Heartiest congratulations to everybody, to the entire nation. I can't tell you how excited I am, and I'm getting goosebumps just watching how the bill has passed, and I'm hopeful that a lot of changes will come forth once this is executed, because as we know, globally, it has been researched and proven that when women come into leadership roles, it is far more inclusive, and a lot of changes will happen, societal, attitudinal, behavioral, and I think that in itself will give us the platform to soar high, and not just women, I'm talking about everybody, because as we know, women are far more inclusive than anyone else. And even for those who are thinking about whatever they are and whatever apprehensions they may have, please understand this is something to be really, really proud of, and not to feel left out, because there's no way a woman will not help another woman and will not help the rest of the society. We just have to come together to make sure that we move forward and we take the nation forward in a collective manner. And congratulations again, and all the best to all of us all.
Absolutely. And while this is happening and while this passage is going on, allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to just make one comment before I go to our next panelist. I will allow you. Can I get Rashmi Samant as young political activist to give her thoughts here today?
Allow me to make my point, sir. Then you can call.
Can you allow the women? Can you allow the women, outspoken, talented,
historic day,
women activists and leaders to speak today? You hog the time every evening.
Allow them.
Waris, the women are not getting time because of you. You can listen to them for one day.
Why are you against the OBC women, my friend?
No
Arnab?
one is against
Why
anyone.
are you against the Muslim women?
There is
I'm asking
no
the
one
question.
is against
And
anyone.
remember, when the history will be written on the women's reservation bill, it will be written that two MPs from the
both.
MIM
She's speaking. Don't do
like
this.
rock.
What's going on?
In support of the OBC women and the Muslim women. Yes.
Why
out of
are you making it a
452,
Can you
caste
please
issue?
get both the leaders?
Can you please
stood
say?
with the OBC
Sir,
women
sir,
and the
sir,
Muslim
it's a
women, and the
celebration
rest
time for all-
supported the
all
bill,
the
which
young
was entire
politicians
OBC
like
women and
us.
entire Muslim women.
You're just making
This will be
issue
written in
and
the
making
history of the
topic
tomorrow.
out of nothing. Excuse me, you're making issue out of nothing. It's a
I am not
celebration
making any issue. I
time.
am making my submission, madam.
What, sir? What
Why are you
submission
not?
for what?
Why don't you feel
Can't
that
you
the
see
Muslims
the
must also
vote?
have representation?
The vote.
Why don't you feel
The
that the
voting
OBC
and
women
the
must also
result-
have the representation in the
result
Vidhan
has shown
Sabha
everything.
or the Lok
Sir,
Sabha?
it is not
Let them have an equal
not a
opportunity to be
quota
represented.
discussion.
Why
It is
are you
not a
against them?
casteism
Why is
discussion.
your government
No
against
one
them?
is against
Why is
anyone.
Modi against
So
them?
what
I am
point
asking
is
this
it?
question, Arnab.
What
Time and again, I will keep on
come?
asking this
Gents
question.
will come with this thing
I
that
am
we
talking.
want
I am
quota.
talking for
How
justice,
can I come with
equality.
You are
I
not against
want to-
gender thing, sir.
If I can have everyone on those screens, please.
We
what is-
excited.
Should also include the OBC
Waris
women
sir,
in
we
the
are
What is-
This is what I
excited.
want to say.
We are happy.
Yes.
Waris, I think what people are seeing today
For the women who have got, I would
across
have
the
more happy
country,
the OBC women and the Muslim women
I think
who
what
have got.
people are
This is what I'm
seeing
saying,
today,
I think, Mr.
I
Waris
think-
sir
allow me
and
please
his
for a
community
moment.
has issue with girls. Huh.
So why do you say that we are against women? No, we are not against women.
No, his
We are not
community
against
does not have a problem. He has a problem. There's a big
Why are you
difference.
asking for
And Waris Pathan does not represent the Muslim community of
Divide
India.
and rule policy is not going to work.
Mr. Rathod,
You can't
Ms.
divide
Rathod,
females
Ms.
of our
Rathod.
country. You can't divide women of our country now. Your divide and rule policy is
Louder,
not going
please.
to
We
work,
are not
Vice
dividing, madam. We are
Prathanji.
asking
You
for
can't
equality.
divide
I
the
am
females
talking
on the
about
basis of
I am
OBC
talking
and
about
general caste. This is a history made by Pradhan Mantri ji.
That they should
I
also
want
be
to express my heartfelt gratitude
Out
to
of
Pradhan
7%
Mantri ji. I want to
Muslim
thank
population
him.
in the
And
country,
now the
only
women of our
0.7%
country will play
representation
their
is there in the
role
Vidhan Sabha.
in policy
Who is
making and
responsible?
decision making of the
Out of
country. This is a
892
historic day.
MPs in
You
the
should be
Lok Sabha,
happy, sir.
till date,
You should be happy.
only
You have
500
opposed triple
plus,
talaq as well.
and that also
This
only
is the
25
hypocrisy of your
handful of
party.
women.
You
Why
don't
should
allow
they
your
have the
women,
representation? This is
your
what my
workers
point
to
is.
work in your party as well.
So don't be
No,
an
that is
hypocrite.
not going to
Don't-
work.
And when will this
And
bill be
Arnab,
implemented?
what is
You are
going
an
to
hypocrite
happen
of the top
in
level.
next
You
election
don't know when
also,
this bill will be
the passage
implemented.
of this
This
bill
is the
from
biggest
two
political
houses is
stunt
going
played
to
by
impact
Narendra
the
Modi
next coming
prior to
election
the
as well.
2024 election.
There would be a
So he
pressure
very
on
much
these
knows that he
parties
is
that
losing
they
the
have
battle.
to give
He did not have
opportunities
anything.
to women
So he
this
called a
time.
special session.
Now
A
history
special
has
session
created.
was called by
Now
Modi
Modi ji
to
has
introduce
created the
women's reservation
history.
bill.
And
Wherein
women,
the
they
entire
will
nation knows
participate in the lead role in the
will not be
country now, Vice
implemented
Prathanji.
till 2034
Now divide and rule policy is not
because you
going
have
to
do a
work.
census,
You are
you have to do
exposed.
delimitation,
You are exposed
which you have
now
no control
because
of.
you
When
have
you
to
do the
give
census,
opportunity to your
why
women,
did you
your
not do the
party
census in
members also.
2021?
Because
Yes, Gyanendra, what are you saying, Gyanendra?
We have already reserved 33%. 33% workers are female workers in our party. The same kind of pressure would be there on
Gyanendra, please,
other
Gyanendra.
political parties also. So Arnab, I want to make the point that in the coming elections only, in the coming elections
also
only, that impact would be there.
important to consider some of the very relevant and pertinent questions which has been raised by different political parties, including the opposition parties, about the quota within the quota as well as the effective date of implementation of this bill. Because these two are very, very important issues, very important issues. And even the Prime Minister immediately recognized the relevance of the points which has been raised by the different political parties.
of our
because
country
this
that
bill
women get
to be
opportunity now.
properly representative of the women should see the representation from the all sections of women. Then only it will become an inclusive and truly representative for all the section of the women. And secondly,
I want to
implementation of this bill.
Gyanendra
glad to be part of that
Ms.
party
Rathore,
who has promoted women.
Ms. Rathore and Gyanendra ji, if I may, Gyanendra ji, you make a point saying that there are certain relevant points which have been brought in. Firstly, you are saying, I mean, the opposition is saying, bring it now. Now, the fact is that the last delimitation exercise was done in 2002. It was basis the 2001 census. To do a delimitation exercise, you have to go through a census. Therefore, isn't it understood that any new reservation should be done on a fresh delimitation exercise, which is dated for 2026, and that is as per the 84th Amendment to the Constitution in 2002. What I am trying to say to you, Mr. Gyanendra, is that Narendra Modi is not only showing the conviction, he is also being very practical. He is not putting just putting a promise. He is saying, I am for the women's bill, I am getting it passed, and I will get it done as per the law. Now, if Narendra Modi tries to implement women's reservation defying the law, the opposition will be the first to go to the Supreme Court and say the law is not being followed. My lords, the 84th Amendment bill is not being looked at. So I think if a Prime Minister is taking the proper legal advice on the implementation of a bill, it is the right thing. Do you want the government to do something unlawful?
So,
you have to have a delimitation exercise based on a census to implement the reservation. That is my point.
Arnab, you basically, Arnab, you basically
what BJP spokesperson?
Very pertinent question.
Why does
you
she
have
not
raised very pertinent question.
Why is she not answering? Why is she just blabbering?
No, you have raised very pertinent question. Let me respond to that question. Being a lawyer, I can respond to that question. So when you are right when you are talking about
one, both of you don't speak together.
Only takes place in 2026, and then the delimitation exercise will also have to take place. But please be mindful that there is no legal impediment or there is no legal linkage between implementing the women reservation bill immediately, which has been passed, with the decennial census and delimitation exercise. There is no legal impediment. You know, the Natarajan committee as well as the Geeta committee report has not mentioned that it has to be done only after the decennial election.
But, yeah, Gyanendra ji, you are very well informed, I must admit.
Yes.
But there is a mistake you're making. Allow me, you're a lawyer. I am not a trained lawyer. But I would say this to you. You see what happens is, there is something called the sanctity of the law.
Yes.
No, thank you. There's something called the sanctity of the law and the sanctity of the Constitution. Now, in the Rajesh Kumar Duria versus Rajasthan Public Service Commission case, the Supreme Court of India has laid out that the women's reservation would qualify as a horizontal reservation. Supreme Court has said it is a horizontal reservation, and those reservations pertaining to backward classes will be vertical reservations. Given the fact that the 33% reservation for women as per the bill applies to women and SC and ST quotas, it is both horizontal and vertical. The crisscross, therefore, requires waiting for the census and the consequent delimitation exercise. If you take this argument, if the government does not do this, then it is defying the Supreme Court and violating the law. I am sure you will agree with me, Mr. Gyanendra, that it's something 27 years if you waited, you do it right. No, my point is 27 years people have fought. 27 years, after 27 years when it's happening, let's do it right. Let's do it right. What's the problem?
Correct. So let me...
you agree with me, Rashmi?
Let me respond.
It is so important, we can't afford to make a mistake.
No.
Absolutely.
I totally agree with you, Arnab. You are right.
people like
we can't make a legal mistake.
Right. But look at some other context as well. See, the present bill provides only for 15 years for the women reservation. The present
women empowerment in this
reservation
country,
is
and that's
only
the
for
problem.
15 years. And if you look at the scheme of the things, this bill will become...
Rashmi saying something to Gyanendra ji. Rashmi Samant, right-leaning political activist.
Only when the census happens in 2026, as promised by the present government, because if the
implementation of the women's empowerment bill,
then only the census will be completed in 2026. And in the historical past, you know that last delimitation exercise took 5 years to come into force after decennial election. So if the census happens in 2026 and the delimitation exercise then take another 5 to 6 years, which is a minimum period for it, then it is very sure that this present women bill will not be implemented.
Who says minimum period? Mr. Rathod, who said Mr.
Rathod? Then it is going
it will not take 5 years, sir. It will take
you see, these are the ifs and buts. Don't have a negative mind, Mr. Rathod.
This is new country. This is new Bharat. This is not that Bharat. It used to take 5 years. It's new country now. It will take just few years, in fact, not 5 years, because it will be done on digital platform now. You can't make that is the mentality problem. You will doubt everywhere. Whenever our country progresses, you always try to create hurdles.
I wish to Gyanendra ji, let the BJP spokesperson respond to you, please.
This is the Mangal Tika, and now our country is going to progress. The Mangal Tika, which Prime Minister also stated in Parliament, this is the Mangal Tika, and that is why I'm very much sure that this bill is going to get implemented on ground, because they always try to create doubts on everyone. Whether it is abrogation of Article 370, whether it's Ram Mandir, whether it's vaccines, everywhere you have created this kind of doubt, and this is the reason why I am very much sure that this bill is going to get implemented on ground, because we have got the auspicious Mangal Tika from your side.
It is a very serious consideration that how
it is not. It is very much serious. I do agree with that.
It is a very important thing to discuss, because everything is dependent on various contingencies that you see. If the census starts,
Jagdeep Dhankar is saying something. I'm going back live.
If knows of it, the amendment is negative. I shall now put the amendments moved by Professor Manoj Kumar Jha to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. No. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendments are negative. I shall now put the amendment moved by Professor Ram Gopal Yadav to vote. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. No. I think the noes have it. The noes have it. The noes have it. The amendment is negative. I shall now put clause 3 to vote.
Those are being voted against by the voice vote out there. I'm going back to the debate. And we have some new panelists coming in right now. Let me get Rashmi Samant in first. Viewers, I just want to say this. Let us stop looking for a needle in a haystack. Abhishek Sudhir is on the debate and Rashmi Samant is there. Syed Abbas, I can see him there. Very important moment out here today. First, Rashmi. Thank you. Thank you. Congratulations. Big day, Syed. Let's get...
Historic day.
Rashmi plus Rashmi.
Arnab, I think it's a historic day. It's a historic moment, something that, generations to come in this country are going to remember. We're going to see so many positive changes in the future, and we're going to credit this particular day and this particular amendment for it. And it's actually, I think, very fortunate that a party which has, actually demonstrated making space for women within the party is actually bringing it, is actually passing it. And it's actually sad to see that the two people who downvoted it in the Lok Sabha yesterday haven't even managed to make that space for women within their own party. So it's great to see people who are, leading by example, actually introducing this bill, getting it passed with, such a great majority. And I think it's very heartening, to say the least, what future holds for the women of this country.
Rashmi, it's wonderful to know
what you believe, but I also like to share my views on the same. Arnab, firstly, hearty congratulations. You've been one of India's journalists who've rallied behind this bill, not just during Republic, but even earlier, where the channel you founded. Now, coming straight to the point, I've always believed, Arnab, with great power comes great responsibility and equal accountability. Modi ji and its government, great news, kudos and an applause for introducing the bill, getting it passed. But the whole process, Arnab, I know this will take time. There are no two ways about it. The census, the delimitation, and so on and so forth. My simple question to the BJP spokesperson is, ma'am, great, kudos, well done. Reservation bill comes in. Also, let me remember Sarojini Naidu ji and Begum Shah Nawaz, who first gave a proposition of women reservation in Panchayat Raj, women reservation in politics. Later, first bringing into effect my Kannada Mannina Maga Shri H.D. Devegowda ji as well. During his prime ministership, this was first coming into effect. But nevertheless, let's give it to the BJP kudos. You have brought it in. But the simple question, ma'am, when will we find this effectively in use? When will we have 33% of women taking over the parliament? How long will it take, ma'am? Me as a nation wants to know.
In 2029 Lok Sabha election, you will see 33% participation of women candidates. In 2029, you will see, sir, and that is very much clear. Modi ji has said, जो वो start करते हैं, उसे खत्म भी करते हैं, and that is true. Whatever he starts, he always completes that as well, and that would be true for this bill as well. In 2029,
I want to give. I want to give one example here.
In this election as well.
There's one ironical point I would like to bring in, if you will permit me. Just 30 seconds.
Abhishek Sudhir, let me get him in, please. Just 1 minute. Can I get Abhishek, please, Piyush, for a moment? I want to.
Okay, fair enough.
Just 1 minute, Piyush, just coming to you, just being equal to all, if I may. You see, today, Abhishek, my basic question is, viewers, for the sake of opposing something, we should not oppose. For the sake of saying something, we should not say. Today, Abhishek, one after the other, the opposition was clamoring for OBC reservation within the women's reservation bill. Now, I looked at the records and I found that the then representatives of the CPIM, when they were deposing before the standing committee on the 2008 version of the bill, they squarely said in 2008, no, we don't want OBC reservation. So when Congress was there, CPM does not want OBC reservation. When BJP is there, the same people want OBC reservation.
Right.
Which means they basically just want to create a problem.
Right.
And I'm saying this because I can quote from the standing committee report as submitted in the Rajya Sabha, presented to the Rajya Sabha on 17 December 2009. Same MPs, same parties have a different position on OBC reservation then. Now they have changed their position on OBC reservation because Modi is in power, BJP is in power. How fair is that? How fair is that, Abhishek?
Well, I think first of all, I'm not very jubilant today. I think it's quite sad that after more than 75 years of independence, half the population can't get 33% of seats. They're not getting elected. That's sad. Because we have to now reserve seats for women. That's sad. Why are women not already in parliament? Why is it that you don't have 50% of women as parliamentarians? Today it's sad that you had to reserve seats. Why are parties not giving women tickets?
We will get 50%
that is the fundamental issue.
Very soon.
Why are you not giving women tickets? Why do you need reservation? You need reservation for half the population,
the
basically.
opportunity we will get in future. At least you should congratulate us.
Ma'am, there is nothing historic about today. We have failed the women of this country by not electing them. And now you are saying 33% of women have to be elected. Okay, if you think that is something to celebrate, I would like to see a day when there is no reservation across the board. That's what I would like to see. That would be a truly historic day when we don't have to say, okay, this seat has to be reserved for a woman. You see this in Pradhan elections. They put up a woman candidate and the men make the decisions. That's sad.
This reservation is there for 15 years.
Are you saying after 15 years, this reservation will go away? Okay, that's a big statement from the spokesperson.
What I'm saying is,
let's see.
What I'm saying is,
Dr. Ambedkar said 10 years. Dr. Ambedkar said 10 years.
Okay.
And the OBC reservation is
and
constitutionally impermissible.
May I say that if you even
OBC
Dr.
reservation is constitutionally
Ambedkar also did not want caste-based reservations beyond a particular period, right? But there are politicians in India who have made it their fundamental basis of their politics. Just some facts I want to share, Abhishek and Piyush. I think I can see Rahul Ishwar there in the window there. Is that Rahul Ishwar? Is that you, Rahul? No, okay. But before I go there, I think about Yogita joining us live now. Yogita, can you hear me? Yogita is also joining us now. Yogita?
Yes, Arnab.
Yogita Bhayana, well-known women's activist. Hi, Yogita, can you hear me? See, the point being made by Abhishek, he says, I am sad. Obviously, there's an element of rhetoric in what he's saying. He says, I'm sad that we are forced to have reservations today.
Absolutely.
I don't know whose that is a commentary on. I want you to respond to it. He says, Abhishek Sudhir says, I'm sad that we are compelled to have women's reservation today. Your response to him, Yogita Bhayana, please.
Okay, that sadness is justified. Actually, we also wanted to see that, without reservation, women being there, like, of course, Mamata Banerjee gave 37% to women parliamentarians, but we need to go to the level playing field. We need to fill that gap. And if it is happening, what is the problem? At least applaud it and say that, okay, this is good. And we'll definitely try for the day where we don't need reservation. We will get that day also, where at least beginning has been done. Let's not negate it. Let's not say negative things, and let's say, okay, we are with this. And we also want to see the day where the reservation will not be needed. At least that gap will be filled. Now these politicians will be compelled to give tickets. At least we will get somewhere, with that. So with that, I would rather put it this way, not to be negative.
Yes.
At least beginning has been done, and we have to support this.
I agree with you on that.
Yes.
I agree with you on that. I
Secondly,
agree
we
with
don't
you,
have
and
to-
I have another response to that.
Reservations only have a beginning; they never have an end.
I have another response to that.
Okay, so other parties,
No, I'll tell you this.
Everybody was jumping to take the credit. In fact, Congress wanted to take the credit. Other parties, what is stopping them from giving tickets to 50% of the women? Who's stopping them? Let's see, because I've seen across political parties,
I agree with you.
just they do lip service. Who's stopping Congress to give tickets to the women? Nobody is stopping Sonia
Okay, we are
Gandhi to
going
give
back to full
50%
frame in
tickets.
Parliament.
There are 12 amendments. Number 4 by Shri Santosh Kumar P. Are you moving?
Moving.
Number 14 by Shri Dipender Singh Hooda.
समाज की महिलाओं को भी
Sudhir raised a point here today, a valid point. He says that why do we have to have a women's reservation bill? Why isn't the representation of women equal to their population? Viewers, I think there's a very simple answer. Yogita Bhayana is right. The answer to that is not because women can't fight elections and win. It is because women are not given tickets by political parties. The Congress party gave only 12.9% tickets to women in 2019. The CPM gave only 14%. Uddhav Thackeray gave only 12%. And I'm saying this, sometimes we think that if there is a woman leader, she will give more tickets, and that is women's representation. Shocking number, Rashmi, from Uttar Pradesh. Piyush, please share this with you. Mayawati only gives 6% tickets to women. Mamata Banerjee gave 37%, but Mayawati only gave 6% tickets to women.
Arnab, how much did
Now
BJP
let me take it with a bit, with a pinch of salt, because
How much did who? I'll tell you about BJP also. Don't worry. Yeah, Piyush.
Okay. So I was just making a point. That and why the need for the urgency. Why the need that it needs to be brought before 2024. I am sure that the Modi government is going to lose in 2024, and India is going to win and form a government. So if we consider all the points of the BJP spokesperson as absolutely truthful, and the whole opposition is obstructionist.
For 27 years,
please,
all we've had
ma'am,
is women empowerment being dangled from a distance.
I
don't understand how you're trying to connect this to an electoral loss.
Ma'am, I did not interrupt you. I expect the same courtesy. I do not take more than a minute to complete my point. So my humble submission is, if the opposition is so obstructionist as has been portrayed by the media, what will happen to the women's reservation bill? So why is the BJP not worrying about that? Because despite the humongous support that the government actually received on this bill, despite the Prime Minister congratulating the opposition for all the support it has given to this bill, the media is certainly portraying the opposition as obstructionist. So, because it does not suit the agenda of the government of the day.
I don't think so.
And the government actually is basically stumped by the support
Piyush, repeatedly.
Of the opposition.
Piyush, may I just respond to you? You made second 2 or 3 points to the media. I am fully aware of the problems that your alliance has against the media. And you have made it public. Most unfortunately, your alliance has made it public. The alliance you support has made it public, and it's taken this anti-media kind of position. Anyone they don't like becomes Godi media and this and that, whatever. Now the point being this, I just want to ask you, and I ask Abhishek and I ask everyone, why, listen to me, why create a discordant note on a happy occasion? Why go on saying OBC? You want to do your OBC politics, do it elsewhere, don't do it over the women's bill. OBC reservation is not applicable in Parliament. How can you have OBC reservation within a bill when in Parliament it is not applicable? Also, I want to ask anyone, please. You want OBC reservation, but the standing committee on your bill left it squarely upon the government of the day. Viewers, let me do this expose. They are now saying OBC reservation. Why did Modi? Why was he unfair on OBCs? Fact is that the standing committee report of the 2008 version of the bill squarely left it to the government of the day to take it up at an appropriate time. That is point number 19.4 of the standing committee report. When the Congress was in power, Abhishek, Gyanendra, Piyush, Syed Abbas, they didn't want OBC reservation at all. Because they never intended to pass the bill at all. They were doing drama. They were fooling the women. Now the Modi government is saying, no, we want to implement. So we want to do it seriously after delimitation, census, everything. We can't bring. It is not a religion bill. It is a women's bill. But you want to bring in minority reservation. Arey, you want to talk about minority reservation? Then I'm sorry, I never want to quote one person called Nehru because I think it's very unfortunate. He was the first Prime Minister of India. He really messed up the country. But Nehru himself was squarely against it. Nehru was against religion-based reservation. Please see his speech in the Constituent Assembly, May 26, 1947. He said religion-based reservation is bad. But now they want to talk about Muslim reservation, minority reservation, OBC reservation. क्या हो रहा है? Abhishek, what is this? अगर oppose करना, अगर politics करना है, किसी और विषय पर कीजिए. किसी और विषय पर कीजिए. इस पर क्यों कर रहे हैं?
अरे इंडिया अलायंस में से किसने?
Yes, one at a time. Gyanendra ji, yes.
May I respond to that
historic
question?
moment, ladies and gentlemen.
That question. See, it is not about having a discordant note or not. The question is that the issues that are being raised are pertinent or germane or not. If you are bringing this bill,
they are not pertinent.
Effective representation of women, then you will have to think that whether the present structure of the women reservation.
I think you're just making an issue out of a non-issue.
Representation.
No, Gyanendra. Gyanendra, no. Gyanendra, no. Gyanendra ji, no.
Yeah, so no, it is not a discordant note. I think it is a very pertinent consideration which ought to have been done. These two major objections which are being raised or observations which are being raised are very pertinent and germane. That whether the bill in the present
they're not pertinent, sir. Please, I'm telling you, don't spoil a happy occasion.
Layers and sections of women in India.
And I'll tell you, you look at everything. I think it's a beautiful coincidence that as per the Hindu calendar, today is the Prime Minister's birthday. You will even look at politics in that.
Given the total time.
I will answer that, Arnab. I'd like to take on your question.
Yes.
Arnab,
no, I want Revala Sridhar Reddy wants to say something. Let him just come in once. Revala Sridhar Reddy once.
Will to operate.
Mr. Reddy once.
Nothing is
Arnab, there are two things basically. yes, Congress party trying to take the credit or BJP trying to take the credit, but people of the country will decide who will have to be given credit on this base. Because, from Deve Gowda ji till today, many prime ministers, rather, including Vajpayee ji, has done their bit. It was not passed and also a different issue. But today, I heard Abhishek saying that, why there should be a reservation. I'm telling you the experience in our state.
Abhishek said that.
One second. Abhishek said that. 50%, why it should be? We are very closely watching.
Sudhir.
We implement 50% reservation for women in the local bodies. Today, otherwise it is not politically possible. We know political compulsion in this country. We understand that. But when we start giving the reservation today, out of total municipal chairpersons in our state, 57.54% are women chairpersons. If there are 32 Jilla Parishad chairmen are there, they're supposed to be 16 by 50% reservation. There are 18 Jilla Parishad chairpersons.
Just one point.
What I'm trying to say, if there is a legislation, the parties has to follow. Let's be honest. Why it didn't happen? If everybody is honest, we would have given chances to them. We have not elected them. That's not the case. There are political compulsions we have to accept at this juncture. I only want to say one thing. At this juncture, fine, there are many differences apart. Even today, I hope the next government, as whoever it be, will be equally sincere to implement this, initiate the process of the census, then delimitation, and ensure that this bill is completely, implemented on ground. Yes, credit will come someday. People know who have fought for it sincerely and who has to be. End of the day, we all have to be happy on one thing, that the women will have more participation, and it's a big reform, and let's welcome it. And
no, I think
now the responsibility lies on it, on the central government.
Yeah, Mr. Reddy, I just want to make one rebuttal. I know Mr. Reddy's intentions are good. Mr. Reddy's intentions are good, but Mr. Reddy, can you honestly say that all those seats that you've reserved at the panchayat level, right, where you have women representation, let's be very honest, sir, let's not beat around the bush. The male folk control these women in most cases. There are TV shows made about this. There's a famous show called Panchayat, where the village pradhan is a woman, but the man makes the decisions. How are we going to truly empower these women? Are we not going to just have male Lok Sabha members nominating their relatives? Should we not have a bar on relatives of elected? You can't. This change has to come from society. You can pass a bill, but you have to vote for women. You have to believe women are your equals. You can't treat them like second-class citizens. You have to learn to respect your mother, your daughter, your sister. You have to accept that they can do what you can do. Sometimes they can do it even better. This reservation is not a panacea for all our ills. Reservation one day has to go.
Advice. When is it going to go?
Now you're saying OBC reservation. I mean, how can you have OBC reservation?
Even before it's come, you wanted to go.
Male OBC members.
This is another moment, I must say. Advaita Kala is on the debate. Advaita Kala is on the debate. Advaita, Abhishek Sudhir on this historic moment says, great, it's come, but when will it go? Advaita responding to Abhishek Sudhir, please. Advaita, welcome.
It'll go when we have a truly equal society. I think it's so imperative that women have been given this opportunity after years and years and years and years of waiting. I mean, the time that I've at least been in public life, Arnab, I've been speaking about this, and it felt like a pipe dream. I was researching back to when I started writing on the women's reservation bill, and I go back to 2011 when it first came out in 2010, didn't happen, and the disappointment we felt just to see the lack of representation in the largest democracy in the world of women and men, the kind of commentary that was passed. I don't even want to repeat those things, but I just feel that this was such a long time coming, and it's finally here. And Modi hai to mumkin hai, and I have no problem with saying that, and I say it with absolute conviction. It took political will to make this happen, and it took the kind of popularity and mandate that only Prime Minister Modi can boast of, and that's why we have this bill today. Make no mistake about it. I don't doubt that there were people in all parties who wanted this bill, but there was just the political will that was absent, and he brought that in.
I think what Prime Minister is doing is that he's creating history. And I think without being political, we should realize we can't always be on the wrong side of history. On GST, the Congress walked out as the bill was being voted for because they wanted the time-wasting tactic of referring the bill to a standing committee. I just want to say, this is so 1990s, Shravan. And Shravan Sen, our senior editor, is in Parliament. This is so 1990s. Walk out, put it to a select committee, standing committee, select committee, standing committee, this committee, joint committee, this committee, delay, promise, never deliver. And same thing, I just want to say this approach is not going to work. I think somewhere the opposition is beginning to realize here's a Prime Minister and a government that is going to push it through. And to tell us what the mood in Parliament is, over to Shravan first for a setting of what he's been seeing in Parliament, politically, what he's been experiencing. Shravan Sen.
Well, in fact, Arnab, I think so. We've come a long way from comments like Parkati Mahila to Zahar Pi Lunga, that kind of comments that were basically made back in the 90s. And of course, not to forget, some made an attempt even today. But having said that, what we witnessed over the last 24 to 48 hours, essentially when it was introduced to the Lok Sabha, there was, when opposition party leaders were entering the parliament, and we got a slim opportunity to get a sense from them, they were all saying that, okay, look here, we are going to go, support. But what really happened was, leading the charge was none other than Sonia Gandhi, who suddenly dropped this bombshell saying that, okay, we want the OBC reservation. When some of the parliamentarians came out, they were saying that we ourselves did not know that this was coming. In fact, as far as the bill that was introduced by the UPA made no mention of quota within quota. So how suddenly you have some of the opposition members raising this quota within quota, and then of course AIMIM. As far as today's arguments that were there on the floor of the parliament, almost you've seen the way the Bharatiya Janata Party has been saying that there is a process in place. This is not about why it wasn't introduced in the last 9 years. That is only because there was a process that was essentially followed with several welfare schemes that was only introduced. And the fact that this is not going to be in vain. They have a plan in place. They've spoken about the fact that there are constitutional provisions, and that is the reason why the delimitation aspect has been taken care of. The census aspect has been brought in. And as far as OBC reservation is concerned, you've had the Union Home Minister making it abundantly clear what is not part of the constitution, the provisions which are not there, one cannot perhaps bring in. But as he said, Shri Ganesh to karna chahiye. That is exactly the aspect that has been brought in by the government, and perhaps as what we are expecting in the next couple of hours, celebrations likely to take place. Some of the women parliamentarians are all lining up at the porch in the parliament.
Shravan, when I started my career 27 years back, this is the first story that I used to cover. And we just come out of college, we saw this great bill being passed. We thought, my God, how lucky we are. The whole country is changing, Shravan, because we just felt this is history, and we ran with mics after Geeta Mukherjee congratulating. There are a lot of activists, I remember, Mohini Giri, others, all participated greatly in the moment. We never thought it would come this way. But then what we underestimated, Shravan, was the ability of politicians to dilly-dally, deflect and disappoint. And I just appeal to everyone today. Viewers, when things don't happen for a long time does not mean those things should not happen. When things don't happen for a long time, it means good things are not being allowed to happen because bad people are conspiring to do bad things to the people of this country. And one of those things, the good things, was Article 370 being removed. Now, when Article 370 was being removed, look at Kashmir today and look at it earlier. The Congress was on the wrong side of history. PDP was on the wrong side of history. Omar Abdullah was on the wrong side of history. Omar Abdullah said betrayal of trust. And whatever Ghulam Nabi Azad says right now, at that time he said that the crown of India has been chopped off. Fact of the matter is, don't be on the wrong side of history. TMC's Derek O'Brien said it's constitutional immorality, procedural harakiri. What procedural harakiri? 27 years not passing the women's reservation bill, that is political harakiri. And Abhishek, everyone, I want to say, let's not ask small questions. People have seen through. People have said where there is leadership and a mandate, things will get done in this country. That's all. Syed Abbas, understand, there is a leader, there is a mandate, there is clarity, there is a vision, there is movement.
I will respond to you.
Country has changed. This new Parliament of India cannot be witness to the same dilly-dallying, ye karo, wo karo, delay karo, select committee approach towards Indian politics. Country is changing on the ground. Ab bahar jaiye, meet people. Abhishek, don't look so sullen. Look at you. You are all looking sullen, unhappy. What? No, it's true.
अर्नब, एक बेहतरीन कहावत है हमारी खूबसूरत जुबान में, इसको कहते हैं कि हरकत से बरकत। अर्नब, जितना हरकत करो उतना बरकत होगा। मतलब action speak louder than words. But also, Arnab, we need to understand.
So these are actions,
sense of jumlebazi which comes in, Arnab. As Mallikarjun Kharge rightly raised a point, this shouldn't turn out to be a jumla. We do not want jumlas. If Modi
have we ever come this far?
Modi
have we ever come this far? Have we ever come to the point where the bill has been passed in both the houses of parliament? We've never come this far. We've never come this far. And I think it's just amazing that we are here today and we're witnessing history. It's just incredible. And I think it's not the time for cynicism. I will join voice with you if this is not implemented in a timely manner. I am with on that one. As of today, I know that it has come this far because there was political will and there was a mandate and there was
where there is no fixation of its date for implementation of the bill, and if the people are raising those issues, then you say that you are putting the cracks in the tracks of the women reservation bill is unfortunate. It's not the case. It's a very pertinent and germane questions which are being asked, challenging the intent and motive of the present government.
Mindset, which was much needed. And the fact that it was done in such a smooth fashion with such decisiveness, that credit goes to Prime Minister Modi, whether you appreciate him or support him.
We take a short break, viewers.
Full majority.
I know that you're with me this evening. I know that you're with me this evening, ladies and gentlemen, and a big moment and a lot of questions being asked, In this historic moment today, Sonia Gandhi was not even in the house when the voting happened, So sad that people brought politics into it. Charu Pragya joining us. Somebody said, it's late. It's not late. I'll tell you, in a way you're right. This is very late. But it's not late because it's 11 o'clock. It's 27 years too late, Abhishek. Charu Pragya is joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back because Republic will bring you this moment live when it happens. Back after a very short commercial break.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
वो बचपन ही क्या जो दीवारों में बन जाए, बचपन ही क्या जो अपने निशान ना छोड़ जाए, जो मैला ना हो रंगों में वो क्या बचपन है, जो झूमे ना उमंगों में वो क्या बचपन है। बचपन जिंदगी में सिर्फ एक बार आता है, उसे खुल के जीने दो, दाग लगने दो, दीवारों पर लगाए ना बर्जर इजी क्लीन पेंट। इसके क्रॉस लिंकिंग पॉलीमर से नो दाग नो टेंशन, ओनली ब्यूटीफुल वॉल्स, बर्जर इजी क्लीन पेंट।
मेरी नजरों से चुना, तेरी हरकतों से सुना,
वो सपना जो बुना तुझे लगा गुनगुना।
कभी जीती तू, कभी मैं हारा, फिर भी खूबसूरत है ये नजारा, क्योंकि इसमें है खुला
कुछ मेरा कुछ तुम्हारा।
इसलिए ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, सपने आपके, लैमिनेट्स हमारा। अमेजिंग स्पेसेस के लिए कुछ मेरा कुछ तुम्हारा।
वो बचपन ही क्या जो दीवारों में बन जाए, वो बचपन ही क्या जो अपने निशान ना छोड़ जाए, जो मैला ना हो रंगों में वो क्या बचपन है, जो झूमे ना उमंगों में वो क्या बचपन है। बचपन जिंदगी में सिर्फ एक बार आता है, उसे खुल के जीने दो, दाग लगने दो, दीवारों पर लगाए ना बर्जर इजी क्लीन पेंट। इसके क्रॉस लिंकिंग पॉलीमर से नो दाग नो टेंशन, ओनली ब्यूटीफुल वॉल्स, Berger Easy Clean Paint.
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
मेरी नजरों से चुना, तेरी हरकतों से सुना,
वो सपना जो बुना तुझे लगा गुनगुना।
कभी जीती तू, कभी मैं हारा, फिर भी खूबसूरत है ये नजारा, क्योंकि इसमें है खुला
कुछ मेरा कुछ तुम्हारा।
इसलिए ग्रीन लैम लैमिनेट्स, सपने आपके, लैमिनेट्स हमारा। अमेजिंग स्पेसेस के लिए कुछ मेरा कुछ तुम्हारा।
जो मैला ना हो रंगों में वो क्या बचपन है, जो झूमे ना उमंगों में वो क्या बचपन है। बचपन जिंदगी में सिर्फ एक बार आता है, उसे खुल के जीने दो, दाग लगने दो। दीवारों पर लगा है ना बर्जर इजी क्लीन पेंट।
इसके क्रॉस लिंकिंग पॉलीमर से नो दाग नो टेंशन,
ओनली ब्यूटीफुल वॉल्स।
मैनकाइंड फार्मा में हमारा मानना है कि
एक अच्छी चीज हर एक इंडियन को मिलनी चाहिए,
इसीलिए हम लेकर आए हैं वो दवाइयाँ जिनकी एपीआई क्वालिटी डीएमएफ जैसी हाईएस्ट प्योरिटी और प्रीमियम क्वालिटी की होती है।
अब मैनकाइंड फार्मा भारत में सच्चे दामों पे लेकर आया है
विदेशों में मिलने वाले डीएमएफ क्वालिटी जैसी दवाइयाँ।
मैनकाइंड फार्मा, सर्विंग लाइफ।
ये किचन नया तो कुक भी नया।
1 मिनट। हाँ
या
नमक कम है
तो डाल दो।
यार ये नमक नकली है क्या?
नमक नहीं, कुक नकली है।
अब किचन इतना इनवाइटिंग होगा तो कुछ नया बनाना एक्साइटिंग होगा। कुक अप द न्यू कुचीना, द किचन एक्सपर्ट्स।
In the global employability rankings by Times Higher Education UK, only the following 6 institutions from India are ranked amongst the top 230 in the world for having the most employable graduates. IIT Delhi, IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIM Ahmedabad, IIT Kharagpur and Amity University.
RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies over 200 years.
Hi, what's that? That's a Manish Malhotra.
Not your dress.
The cupboard. The laminate is a Manish Malhotra design.
Century Laminates by Manish Malhotra. Fashion for your furniture.
Live it up, live it up.
इंश्योरेंस कोई आरओआई नहीं है। एमएफ ईयर चेक कर, हाई होगा। क्या है?
आप बीपी चेक कीजिए, हाई होगा। हाई बीपी से सीकेडी हो सकता है और उसके ट्रीटमेंट से आपका टोटल लाइफ सेविंग्स खत्म। SHI ले लो।
SHI
स्टार हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस। अपनी सेविंग्स को बचाइए स्टार हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस के साथ। द हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस स्पेशलिस्ट।
Unsurprisingly, the most important decision of the I.N.D.I.A. alliance. Now they are starting off by grandly declaring that they will boycott 14 anchors, yours truly included. They think it's a great move. They think this will put pressure on journalists to stop questioning things like the declared intent of many of their leaders to eliminate Hinduism, to eliminate and annihilate Sanatan Dharma and uproot Hindu traditions from the soil of our great nation. I am the one who exposed his intellectual inadequacy.
We will discuss changes after this, tomorrow, day after, we'll discuss.
Voting process is on, 6 minutes past 11. The amendment motions have been on for about 45 minutes. We're at the very end of the voting process. Prime Minister is in the House and the entire cabinet, all senior leaders in the House. Parliament is jam-packed, and outside Parliament it's Shawan Sen. Shawan Sen will tell us what's going on and then put the first question to Charu Pragya, who's joining us this evening. Shawan.
Has been put to vote, so we're expecting perhaps in a couple of minutes, a little bit more than that, when the process will get over. Remember, in Lok Sabha, Arnab, it was slightly longer because the digital process was not, there was technical difficulty, so it was done manually through papers. It's a little different as far as Rajya Sabha is concerned. So expecting in a couple of minutes more, it's going to continue, and thereafter, there could be a surprise element. What we are picking up, our reporter inside the parliament is sending us information that women parliamentarians are planning to celebrate. Laddus likely to be, distributed inside the parliament. So we'll be getting that first visuals of that historic moment. It's a momentous occasion for this country, something that even developed nations have not been able to do it. Sweden, Norway, Germany, take any of these countries, they've not been able to do it. India has been able to do it. So it's a great moment. In fact, Charu, but can I take one question with you with regards to, there are still few in the hallowed halls of the parliament today who've been on the wrong side of history, and two parliamentarians from AIMIM raised this entire, let's do Muslim reservation. Muslim women have been affected because of it. They've chosen to be on the wrong side. OBC reservation, something that everyone knows, constitutional experts would actually tell you that was not possible. But they still decided to go ahead with it. They are asking, what's the timeline? What's the timeline? How long will it really take?
Good evening, Shawan. Their pessimism right now is acting like a kala tikka on my happiness. They cannot dull my happiness. I'm all smiles. I am so proud. I am so proud as an Indian citizen today. What we have achieved is momentous. 0 nays. Can you believe it? For all the conversation and dissent and debate that surrounded the women reservation bill, Modi hai to mumkin hai. He's proved it yet again. Now we are going to have a place at the decision-making table for 33% of women from this country in our parliament, and that's going to change all statistics. And nothing that AIMIM says or anybody else says is going to dull this happiness today. Let them have their moment. Let them say what they feel like saying. They're not being secular at all. They're not even being equal about anything. And their opinion today is only to promote their own selfish politics, their 15 seconds of fame. I'm sorry I'm saying this. At the end of the day, you should have seen the expression on Dhankarji's face when our Honorable Vice President said 0 nays and 0 abstained. I think that is a massive, massive achievement, especially when we discuss the whole surrounding and the events that led up to this bill being tabled. And today is Modi ji's Tithi ka Janamdin. So Modi ji, thank you for giving us this wonderful return present on your birthday.
Charu, why don't you tell all our panelists today, because yesterday you were taking an Australian delegation inside the parliament. What is it that they had to tell you? Let the world actually know they were witnessing this unfolding. You took them inside the parliament. Why don't you tell us what did they say?
Shawan, it's been so wonderful to be an Indian at this point of time, because this is our time to shine in the world. The whole world is looking at us after the massive success of G20. Every visiting delegation comes to our country with awe, and the passing of this reservation bill has only added to what India brings to the world of geopolitics. They were talking about the UPI. They were talking about our beautiful new parliament building. They were talking about how accessible it is, how beautiful it is, how we have managed to embrace our culture and step into the future at the same time. So Modi ji's popularity is rising. India is shining.
Well, Syed Abbas, you've heard what Charu had to say. Why is it that you would still believe in nitpicking today when you were very well aware of what entails this entire reservation policy? It is not something out of the constitutional provisions. The Article 82 of the Constitution makes it very clear that when it comes to reservation policy, your delimitation will take place. For delimitation to happen, census will take place. So why is it so very difficult for anyone to accept that? And why perhaps do the nitpicking on an occasion like this? You have many other opportunities to do it.
My dear friend Shavana, hearty congratulations to you and all my dear fellow Indian brothers and sisters.
And to you, because this impacts the lives of all Indians, women and men.
We should all.
The same reason.
Every Indian. Syed, not just one. Every Indian should be proud.
Absolutely. There are no two ways about it. There are no two doubts about it, Shravan. I completely stand with you on that. I'd also, it's wonderful to see the smile on my dear friend Charu. Congratulations, Charu. Wish to see more women like you in the parliament to come. You must come, you must win, and many more to come. Also, Charu, I truly believe the real celebration will be the day when I see the great women of my country, 33% women of my country actually getting a seat at the table. The fact of the matter is, we do understand that the delimitation, the census will take time. Your own spokesperson said this will not be possible before the 29. So 6 more years to go.
Years are complaining about.
You fasten the process.
Man.
Can I respond to that? Can I respond to that?
27 years.
Please let me respond to that.
Where were you for the past 3
Please let me respond to that. Our government never said
Okay, let's go on.
Let's effect in 2024.
I want to ask him a question.
Let us
speak today.
Okay, allow me to speak. The fact you're anyway going to be in the parliament soon. The fact of the matter is, this is a great move, but I question
you are regretting that you won't. Is it? Is it crazy? I can see a tinge of envy and competitiveness going on here.
Arnab, I will only eat the laddu. I will only eat the laddu when I see 33% women actually occupying the most important seat of the lawmaking, the policy making.
You're not even being authentic out there.
Okay, this is great, but I just want to ask you for your comments on the 2 AIMIM members who didn't vote for the bill. What do you have to say to them? Because the ones who voted
for the bill, let's not talk about them at all.
I will answer that.
No, we are not talking about them.
I will not hold back my punches.
Agree that
Ma'am, I will answer that, ma'am. Ma'am, Arnab, my friend Arnab, my brother Arnab will be happy. I think it's
Can I be very Indian, Arnab?
I won't save you at all. Friend, brother, whatever you want to call me. Now you have taken on all the very well-spoken women on the program. I am not coming in this.
Indian for 1 minute.
To answer that.
Just for 1 minute.
Arnab,
let's leave them. Let's leave those 2 MPs. May I?
I'm not coming in at all. Why are you appealing to me, Arnab? I'm not coming into this at all. You deal with Charu now after what you just said.
Charuji, listen to me.
No, I'm not. Please take me off the screen. Let him debate with Charu directly. Please take me off the screen.
Listen to me.
The question is
Listen to me. No. After that, you add your comments. You will not say. I promise you will not say what you have to say after that.
You need to know my stand.
Oh my God.
Yes, we will come to that. May I?
Asaduddin Owaisi and Mr. Imtiaz.
This is what I call Charu. After what Syed, listen. Syed, listen. You are the only person. You're the only person who does a pole vault into quicksand, and this is called self-inflicted injury. At least today, say the right thing. You have this habit of saying the wrong thing and getting into it. Then you say, Arnab, brother, my friend, my old friend, my elder brother. Nothing will help you. Go on.
I'm also your friend, Syed.
Today your brother has forsaken you, Syed. I'm out of this.
Give me 30 seconds, I will answer.
Now,
Question was raised on the AIMIM.
You're not getting any.
And I will answer straight in the 30 seconds. Ma'am, I'm glad you raised the question.
No, he said,
AIMIM
said this bill is for Suvarna women. What did he mean? What did he mean by saying this bill is for Suvarna women?
Allow me.
No, why bring in caste?
Asaduddin Owaisi and Imtiaz Jalil, the two
Syed,
MPs from
Syed.
MIM. If they
Syed,
really
drop it.
respected
May I speak, please? You'll change your opinion after I've spoken.
Charu, this is not fair.
Speak again if you don't change your opinion.
It was a great speech.
You had your time. Allow
Charu.
me 10 seconds, ma'am.
Charu, go on.
All yours.
Charu,
All
go
yours.
on.
Charu.
No,
Okay.
you don't
So,
decide. Charu is
Arnab,
responding to you. I'm allowing her. I'm allowing her viewers on the screen. Charu.
If they really
I
honor
want
women,
to be
if they really respect
unapologetically.
women, they would come out and vote for the
Sayed,
bill.
no point.
This
Wait
shows
now. Listen,
they
if you
have a
don't change your mind, then you
with
speak again.
equality with women.
If you don't change
They
your
do not
mind, then
have
you
any
speak.
bone
May I please?
of contention.
Okay.
Charu, just hear me out.
Okay, done. Now
A
may I
question-
speak?
A
I heard
question was
you.
asked to me.
I heard
Charu.
you.
Allow me to please answer 10 seconds. I'll hear
Sayed,
you.
let me finish. I will
The
be quiet
question-
in 10 seconds.
The question which was raised
I
is a very
promise I'll be
simple
quiet
one.
in 10 seconds.
The two men, my comment on the two men against
No,
this bill,
nobody is in the
Imtiaz
mood
and
for this
Asaduddin
discussion
Owaisi.
right now. Read the
Imtiaz-
pulse
Okay, now
of the
Syed,
people, my
Charu is
friend.
responding to Charu. Syed,
Read
please.
the pulse of the people.
And if they really honored women,
Syed,
they would have no
read
problem
the
with
pulse of the
equality.
people.
The
We are
problem
not
is
indulging in
these
this right
men
now.
do have a
Arnab,
problem
you know,
with equality. They cannot stand the reservation bill.
Okay,
They
please,
cannot
Syed,
honor
please,
women.
please,
They
please.
cannot
Now's not the
respect
time.
women. So
Now's
therefore,
not the time. And if you will wait now,
it's only the
politely,
clear.
respectfully,
Charu,
and allow me to
Charu,
have my
it's
say.
unfair on your part.
I waited
If
for you.
Don't allow me to
now.
speak here right now. You need to understand that I
You are
denigrate
not
and
reading the
condemn
pulse
these
of the panel, my friend.
unconditionally.
You are missing the
Today,
point entirely.
I unconditionally
And I
condemn
don't
these
want to
men
say this
for not
when
voting
I'm
for the
speaking
bill,
over you.
For making
Syed,
statements
will you take
which
a
are
pause?
uncalled
Will you take a
for.
breather?
That is why
30
it is
seconds
so.
बोल के 3 minutes हो गया यार. Now take a
अरे
breather.
आप बीच में बात करेंगे तो कैसे जवाब दूंगा मोहतरमा?
We'll come back to
अभी
you.
parliament
अरे मैं
में-
Charu,
excited
carry
हूँ.
on.
Give
Don't
it
wait
to
for
me.
him. I'm reducing his fader.
Give it to me.
I'm
See,
reducing his fader. He's still not. He's learning lessons the hard way. Carry on.
I am
ये आदत से
unapologetically
मजबूर है
Indian
शायद
right now.
अब्बास.
I am saying these two MPs from AIMIM are like this Kala Tikka on Bharat ki khushiyan today. Let them do and say what they want. Do not miss the pulse of the panel. We are in a celebrity mode. Whatever you've been saying, Modi ji managed to get 215 people to vote unanimously to pass the bill.
My sisters and my
We've
mothers
been debating
come to the
this for 5
parliament.
days. And I am
33%
still
should be
saying
there.
when there is a will, there is a
Don't
way.
celebrate
And when
too
your
early,
will is
man.
as strong and as staunch as
That
Prime
will
Minister
give
Modi's,
only diabetics.
there's definitely a way. And if there is no way, he's made the way. He's proved this. He's proved this. Like the OG, he's the boss. And you have to admit it. Tell me when was the last time you heard of a bill being passed with 0 nays? Now this is what Modi Sarkar can achieve. This is what he has proved time and time again. And read the pulse, my friend. It does not matter two people abstained. They were the ones who chose to not be a part of India's growth story. They were the ones who chose to not be a part of the rising of the women of this country.
Of tickets you've given to Indian women in 2019?
Well, my party has 33% reservation for women for party posts. You know, Syed? 33% reservation for women for party posts.
How many?
Do you
what
know
is the
that?
percentage
Did you
of
know that?
tickets?
Tell me which other party has this?
Madam,
And which party do you support, my
Madam,
friend?
what
Congress.
is the ticket
You said no,
percentage?
40%
Tell me,
भागीदारी
how many
देंगे
women
सरकार
are
में.
there? What is
एक
the
minister
ticket
बनाया कर्नाटक में.
distribution
एक.
percentage?
Does anybody
In your
else
party?
know this? 40%
No, answer
बोल के
me.
एक minister बनाया
Don't
and
run
they
away.
justify it. And they're asking me.
Don't run away,
I'm already
Chandni.
telling him we have
What
33%
is
in
the
my party at
percentage? No,
least.
not the party post. Tickets,
I am
tickets. I'm talking
here.
about
I
how
am
many
here
ticket
with the blessings and
percentage
approval
distribution
of the
women?
leaders of my
Answer
party.
me.
And
Don't
there
run
are
away.
thousands like
Don't
me.
run away from the
Thousands
question,
like
Charu.
me.
What is the
We
percentage
have
of ticket
cabinet
distribution to
ministers
women in the
who are running this
2019
country
Lok Sabha
today.
elections?
We have
Answer my
cabinet
question.
ministers who are women.
Or
More
answer me, or
participation
tell
than
me
we've ever
that
had
no,
before.
Okay, I'm
But
letting
you know this
Abhishek
women,
Sudhir and
women
Nirmala Sridhar Reddy
empowerment.
come in.
My party has not given that many tickets. Agree on the show.
Sir, thank you very much. 1 minute.
Gracefully.
I'd like just 1 minute. Interesting discussion on. We're waiting. Shawan, why is it taking so long? What are you hearing from inside?
Well, in fact, right now it's clause 6 where the voting is taking place. The division of votes are underway. So it goes clause by clause. So we're expecting another couple of minutes, a little more than that, or not for the final division of votes to actually take place. So it is being done manually, so hence it takes a little bit more time. We've heard that at least this is clause number 6, which is underway where the voting is on right now.
Understood. Well, we have Sujata Pandey also with us. We're getting reactions from a lot of women activists, columnists, writers, authors, politicians, political activists. Sujata ji, the House is going to stay on till I think midnight today. But a lot of people are also staying on to just see the moment through. And there's still, even at this late hour, a sense of excitement, both on television as well as in the House. Your thoughts on this very, very important moment that we are seeing, the biggest gender-based parliamentary reform in the history of the world?
An historic moment, Arnab. I think आधी आबादी को जो पूरा हक है. I mean, after 27 years of struggle, and just seeing that how the bill was just used as a stick, as just to lure the votes. Because if you see how 1996 the bill came in, and 2010 also, when you see that the bill was just introduced in Rajya Sabha and never got tabled in Lok Sabha. So the entire, you see a entire journey. But I want to, congratulate the women of this country, because they decided, they said, look, politicians, if you think that we are not the vote bank, we are going to show that how we can create that vote bank and make you, compel you to consider as a vote bank. That's why probably in 2019, women came out more in numbers than the men voters. And election by election in 2022 also, when you saw the 5 state elections, BJP won the 4 states. The reason behind the win was women voters. You named Karnataka, it was the women voters. You named Delhi, how Arvind Kejriwal came into power, it was the women voter. Now the Telangana government, then the upcoming elections in Telangana is all tilted towards women voters. So I think it's the women voters who had decided that that we, if not 27 years, then when? And I think this was the litmus test of a government which said that their policy was centered around women. And I think the government has proven that today. And yes, people have a lot of ways to go into the history. I think AIMMM has chosen a backdoor, way of going into history by going against it. Like what they have gained out of it by going against this. I mean, when the entire country is celebrating, you ask a woman who's interested in politics, who's not interested in politics, and a housewife, a corporate,
The bill further to amend the Constitution of India as passed by Lok Sabha be passed.
Motion moved that the bill be passed. The question is that the bill be passed. Those in favor will please say aye. Aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it. Division lobbies are already cleared. Secretary General.
Honorable members, I am starting the voting process. The voting time starts now.
Well, in fact, it's the final voting process that is underway. 10 clauses, the voting is almost over. The update that we're getting from our reporter inside is all A's, no no's. So we're just going to wait for that cut across to Rajya Sabha in a short while from now to get the numbers. But this is what our reporter is getting us. With regards to all the clauses, it seems that unlike what we saw in the Lok Sabha, here in the Rajya Sabha, it is a complete support that has been given to the Women Reservation Bill. Just the last button that is being pressed is what our reporter is sending us right now. So couple of minutes from now, ladies and gentlemen, India is going to script history. Women Reservation Bill is going to be passed by the Parliament, and thereafter it gets enacted. Remember, 33% of reservation for women in all legislative bodies, not just here in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, but also in the NCT, the Delhi region too. So it's a momentous occasion and we're almost at the fag end. 191 A's and 0 no's is what we are picking up right now. Perhaps we'll just dip into Rajya Sabha just for getting in what's happening right now inside. Let's just dip in.
Right, Shravan, we're going to Parliament and we'll stay live with the House. I want to go to the full frame pictures because I want our viewers to experience this moment. I'll speak briefly over it. I'll stay with the ambience. My attempt is to almost take you through to the moment and give you the raw feel of what's happening inside the Parliament. It's a process. Piyush Goyal, Parliamentary Affairs Minister, looking up at the Parliament and all appreciating the moment in the House. We will all remember that at close to 11:30, today, on the 21st of September, 2023, the historic Women's Bill is going to be passed. Prime Minister is in the House and, it's taken about 80 minutes in all, this entire process. It's actually quite unsurprising because what happens is that on each amendment you have to go through the process, you have to press for division. In some divisions are asked for, etc., etc. Now, this is a moment, just last button pressing right now. What we are hearing, Shravan, is 191 ayes, 0 no's. Can you tell me what are the numbers you are hearing? We just saw some numbers being put out on our news group. Shravan?
Right. In fact, Arnab, our reporter inside the Parliament has confirmed it's 191 ayes, 0 no's. We're just waiting because there are a total of 10 clauses, as I understand, Arnab. So with every clause, there was a voting that has taken place. This is the final voting that is taking place. I'm just getting in some more information from inside. The Prime Minister also, in all likelihood, will be speaking is what we are picking up. In fact, Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh has also put out some details. I'll just try and take that out for our viewers as we get you the visuals from inside the Rajya Sabha. This is what, in fact, Raksha Mantri has already put out the tweet. He says that with the passage of the Women's Reservation Bill in the Rajya Sabha today, a new and golden chapter has been added to the history of Indian democracy. That's Raksha Mantri. The first confirmation coming in from the Raksha Mantri, a tweet has been put out and our reporters are also confirming that the voting is completed. That's the latest.
Subject voting to correction, has been... ayes 214. It's something all around. Noes 0, abstain 0. Honorable members, the motion is adopted by a majority of the total membership of the House and by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members of the House present and voting. The bill is passed by the constitutionally required majority. Let the lobbies be opened. Let the lobbies be opened. Honorable members, kindly stand for national song. cyanide.
Ladies and gentlemen, and with that, a big congratulations to all of us, everyone watching this broadcast. We were waiting for this moment, the Prime Minister being congratulated, the JP Nadda on the screen, meeting Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, that's Mr. Sarvanand Sonowal, Home Minister Amit Shah taking his leave, several women members of Parliament coming towards him. We'll soak in this moment full frame with the pictures there. This must be remembered that it has taken a considerable amount of political will, resolute determination and clarity of thought to get the women's bill represented. And I think the Prime Minister's personal intervention is what has really made this happen. He's going across personally speaking to women leaders, members of Parliament. There will be celebrations for this, of course. But this kind of a push can only happen if you have a clear majority, and the Prime Minister had a majority. Now, questions will be asked, why was this not done before? Well, there wasn't a clear majority in the Rajya Sabha earlier. It's as simple as that. And if there wasn't a clear majority in the Rajya Sabha, then on various clauses and sub-clauses and committees, you know, the entire parliamentary process can see considerable amount of delays. That's why the mandate that the BJP has received in 2019, followed by the mandate in state assemblies leading to the majority in parliament, has led to this situation. Prime Minister leaving the house, I'd like to get everyone's thoughts. First, Charu Pragya, and then we'll go across to everyone. Charu.
Arnab, I'm still smiling, and I think India has scripted history with the world's largest democracy and a 33% reservation in the world's largest democracy. It changes the numbers, not just for my country, it changes the numbers globally. That's the strength and power of India. Thank you so much, Modi ji. Where there is a will, there's a way. He's proved it.
Absolutely. Rashmi Samant, one of the youngest members on the panel, young political activist. What do you say to this moment?
Well, Arnab, I think this is such a momentous occasion, something that's going to go down in history, and it's going to, empower generations of women to come. As a 24-year-old, who's just starting out, the future looks pretty bright as a 24-year-old girl, and for people my age, for people who are to come. It just looks like, all the opportunities are out there under the sun available for us. I'd like to, also conclude on the note that the women will remember the two people who voted against. And, it's something that's never going to be taken lightly. And it's going to go down something, that the women will not forget for a very long time to come. So on that note, on a very happy and high note, I think this moment is absolutely, I'm out of words. It's that exhilarating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As I hand over to Shravan for taking this forward, Abhishek just shared something with me. Abhishek Kapoor, our senior executive editor, who's great on factoids. He said, interestingly, the last time that the bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha was due to BJP support, because at that time the Congress did not have a majority in the Rajya Sabha. Congress had a majority in the Lok Sabha, but the BJP got it passed in the Rajya Sabha. Congress did not bring it back to the Lok Sabha for passage. So this emphasizes this whole aspect that if you want to do something, you can do it. If you don't want to do something, you can have a majority and block it. And that's what the Congress party has done. And Sonia Gandhi was rather petulant personally by not being there in the house. But besides that, let's enjoy the moment. Over to Shravan in Parliament, and congratulations to us all. Shravan, over to you.
Thank you, Arnab.
Well, in fact, Arnab, it's a big moment. In fact, all of us are lucky to be here to witness this unfolding. And just to quickly take from where Abhishek, my colleague, had pointed out with regards to what really happened the last time it was introduced. In fact, one veteran parliamentarian, I would just like to share this with all our panelists, veteran parliamentarian was talking to a bunch of reporters yesterday, talking about what happened last time. And the fact that you've had stalwarts of the BJP at that point in time, some perhaps we cannot name them at this point in time, but they had given that assurance to Sonia Gandhi that BJP will be supporting the UPA government. because at that point in time, the RJD, the left parties, they were not willing to give that kind of support. But despite that, remember, it was not the political will, the political consensus which was absent that resulted in a situation where the bill could not have been passed. So now that entire political war, the credit war that is basically underway, for them perhaps to remember that they could not really take it through. But today, what we are witnessing, Charu, is it has been passed thumping majority in the Rajya Sabha, and that's undoubtedly a big deal. And in fact, Abhishek, if I can come to, I think so this is a moment, sit back and perhaps, revel in that glory that we finally have the women reservation bill which has been passed. I think so today isn't the moment to criticize.
Yes, well said.
Well, Shravan, I think the moment the bill was passed in the Rajya Sabha, the name of a man was chanted repeatedly, the most powerful man in this country. Women will have to take power from the hands of men. Men are not going to relinquish power. That power has to be taken.
Oh no, Abhishek, not today, not today. Women empowerment cannot happen.
It's
not today. Women empowerment cannot happen without
so the struggle begins today.
From your mouth.
Not today, not today.
Abhishek.
The patronizing words that I hear from across the panel
Abhishek,
are not going to make women empowerment happen in this country. Sorry.
For once you can be gracious.
Advaita, I think so. Abhishek, I think so. Let's understand. I think so. Yes, that's a moment, Abhishek. Don't miss that moment. Don't miss that moment. You are being recorded. People are going to watch you. I think so. This is not the day. This is not. Of course, this is. Of course, it is. That beginning actually happened. No, Abhishek. I think so. You should think about it. 27.
It's a good beginning.
No, I'm saying. All that I'm saying. 27 years. Think about it. 27 years. This country took 27 years for letting this happen. For finally allowing the women to be in the hallowed halls of the parliament. It has taken us 27 years. For a country that has had a women prime minister, for a country that has had a women president. In fact, I'll just request all our guests to stay on with us. We're just going to dip into the proceedings in the parliament right now. Let's not miss this, because I think so in a short while from now, we'll also get you those visuals. The moment the parliamentarians step out, we're expecting some sort of a celebration to actually take place. So let's listen into what's really happening inside the parliament.
हमने तक ये सदन चला 18 सितंबर 2023 को माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने सदन में संविधान सभा से अब तक की 75 वर्ष की संसदीय यात्रा, उपलब्धियां, अनुभव, स्मृतियां और सीख विषय पर एक चर्चा आरंभ किया। इस चर्चा में कुल 36 मान्य सदस्यों ने हिस्सा लिया और अपने विचार एवं अनुभव सभा के समक्ष प्रस्तुत किए। ये चर्चा 6 घंटे 43 मिनट तक चली। माननीय सदस्यगण, ये सत्र हमारी संसद के इतिहास में एक अत्यंत उल्लेखनीय सत्र के रूप में जाना जाएगा, क्योंकि सत्र के दौरान हमने संसद के नए भवन में सभा की कार्रवाई आरंभ की। सत्र के दौरान एक सरकारी विधेयक, संविधान 128वां संशोधन विधेयक 2023 लोकसभा में पुनर्स्थापित किया गया। तत्पश्चात सभा ने इस अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण विधेयक पर विचार किया गया। इस विधेयक पर कुल चर्चा में 60 मान्य सदस्यों ने भाग लिया। चर्चा के दौरान 32 महिला सदस्यों ने अपने विचार रखे। ये चर्चा 9 घंटे और 57 मिनट तक चली। चर्चा के उपरांत इस संविधान संशोधन विधेयक को संविधान में निर्दिष्ट प्रावधानों के अनुसार 2/3 से भी अधिक बहुमत से पारित किया गया। आज दिनांक 21 सितंबर 2023 को चंद्रयान 3 मिशन की सफलता, अंतरिक्ष क्षेत्र में हमारे देश की अन्य उपलब्धियों विषय पर चर्चा हुई, जिसमें कुल 87 माननीय सदस्यों ने हिस्सा लिया। ये चर्चा 12 घंटे 25 मिनट तक चली। सत्र के दौरान लोकसभा विभागों से संबद्ध स्थायी समिति का एक प्रतिवेदन सभा में प्रस्तुत किया गया। सत्र के दौरान लोकसभा की विभागों से संबद्ध स्थायी समिति का एक प्रतिवेदन सभा में प्रस्तुत किया गया। दिनांक 20 सितंबर 2023 को निर्देश 73 के अधीन सभा में एक वक्तव्य दिया गया। सत्र के दौरान कुल 120 पत्रों को सभा पटल पर रखा गया। लोकसभा के इस सत्र की कार्य उत्पादकता लगभग 132% से ज्यादा रही।
Advaita, I want to come to you. You know, it's a great moment for us to celebrate. Of course, it's going to be a challenging task ahead too. But the fact of the matter is that not just political parties, perhaps it's also time to remember those who have been actively voicing this for decades now. You've also been part of that fight. You know, I want you to take us through that journey for several other women leaders who've been fighting all this while. We'll try and reconnect with Advaita in a short while from now. Let me just try and go back to Rashmi. Rashmi, what I found very interesting is for young women leaders like you, this is a... Okay, Advaita, Advaita, what I wanted you to perhaps tell our viewers is about that long journey. I'm sorry, Advaita, I think so we'll have to just cut across to the parliament once again. We'll come back to you. Just give me a moment.
माता की सभा की कार्रवाई अनिश्चित काल के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Well, in fact, celebrations inside the Parliament as the parliamentarians start walking out at the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha have now been adjourned. Ladies and gentlemen, Women's Reservation Bill has been adopted. In fact, thumping majority in the Rajya Sabha. History has now been created. We'll try and go across to our reporter inside the Parliament to get you the latest visuals as we see history being scripted right from the new Parliament. That's the first bill that was introduced in the new Parliament led by the Prime Minister. And one thing that the Prime Minister said was, perhaps when we start the new journey, it is going to be the future of our country, a future which is going to be positive in nature. Advaita, if I can just come back to you. The question that I was asking you was with regards to the journey that all women leaders have had. Not just political leaders, there are a lot of people who are behind this. In fact, legal battles that were undertaken. So it's a long, arduous battle that we have seen over these years.
Absolutely. I mean, there are very few images that emerge from Parliament that are empowering as far as women are concerned. And one of those earliest images that I can recall from many years ago was women parliamentarians across party lines. Sushma Swaraj ji, Brinda Karat, all these ladies coming together and saying, we stand together for this bill. I think that was exceedingly an important and a very powerful image that came out from Parliament, and it was linked to the Women's Reservation reservation bill. Of course, I mean, the one is written, debated, all of those things through the years, felt like something was going to happen and then come a cropper. So it's happened over and over and over again, as well as, we've done so many debates, Shravan, on the kind of language that was used for women in parliament. It was so disappointing. And the only thing you could do was really just watch on TV. So I think that this demographic imbalance that was present in parliament had to be fixed. The boys' club had to be dismantled. And it took Prime Minister Modi, and I'm saying this in all seriousness, it took political will. It took the fact that this is a leader who is beyond politics. If you look at his journey and what he has done in terms of empowering women from Gujarat till now, whether it was the Keval Rath scheme that he launched for young girls. I mean, that scheme, Prime Minister Modi, then Chief Minister Modi, stood up against traditional sections of society and said, look, you have to redefine what girls are capable of. Sakhi Sammelans that he organized, turning women towards empowerment in terms of financial empowerment. This was something he was doing as Chief Minister. He was putting money from his pocket to educate girls. This is a leader who is not only about policy and law, but also about challenging social mindsets, and who has the mandate, the popularity to take on these social mindsets. And this is what I find incredible about him. He will stake his political equity, his personal equity, especially when it came to something like triple talaq, which was again dressed up as something of Modi doing Muslim baiting, when the fact of the matter was there was overwhelming support from Muslim women for the criminalization of this practice. And he stood by them, irrespective of whether he would be misjudged for it or there was any vote benefit he would derive from it. So this is a man who has gone beyond politics, and you can see it. And that's why I feel that he's on a mission. He's going to make things happen. Nothing is going to get in his way, especially not his own personal equity or ego. And I think we're fortunate to have a leader like this, because that's the only way we will get change. And the Americans had FDR back in the 50s, who redefined American politics and society with social security and these landmark schemes. And we are fortunate, 75 years into independence, we have India's first post-independent born Prime Minister who is redefining this country and taking it to the heights that we in our lifetime, at least at my age, never thought would happen. I think the Gen Zers are so lucky because they're walking into the adult world with a far more empowered India on the global stage, and the girls with a far more empowered place in society and polity, and full credit to Prime Minister Modi.
Well, in fact, the magnanimity was also seen when Union Finance Minister Charu Nirmala Sitharaman was also speaking earlier in the day, when she also remembered the contribution made by the former prime ministers, but at the same time speaking about the fact that there is a roadmap. She's indicated that the roadmap is, this is not a mere lip service. This is not some political tool. This is something that should have happened long back, did not, but finally we are witnessing that happen before, unfolding before our eyes. So I think so there was some magnanimity not only from the Prime Minister, from almost all cabinet leaders who spoke the floor of the Parliament, dedicating this to the nation.
So beautiful, Shravan. This is what a democracy is. This is how you can have your differences and still manage to come together when it really matters. And I think there is no bill, there is no cause, there is nothing that they could have done which is greater than this. There's nothing that is bigger. And I am glad that a leader with a vision could unite all these people with all these diverse views. And I also want to agree with what you said just there. This is not mere lip service. Since the day PM Modi came into office, he has made sure that he is focused on the development of women in a very holistic way. Every single day, from the minute she is born to when she goes to school, when she goes to work, whether her house is registered in her name, if she can easily get a loan, her health, whether she has the correct nutrition, she can look after her family, she's skilled. So empowering women is empowering a country. That is empowering 50% of the population of your country.
Okay. Charu, I think so. We're getting that beautiful image right now from inside the parliament. We'll try and go across to our reporter also, but I'll just put that out right now. She sent us those visuals of all the parliamentarians gathering there. It's a moment to celebrate, and of course, the credit also goes to the Prime Minister. That is the reason why you have BJP parliamentarians at Hans Dwar right now waiting for the Prime Minister. So we're expecting a brief kind of celebration to take place. We'll try and go across live to our reporter in a short while from now. But, Mr. Ravula Reddy, if I can come to you, your party too has played a pivotal role. I spoke to your leader, K. Kavita, just about yesterday. She was a little unhappy about the way it has gone, but at least unlike other political parties, your party was very clear that at least let it come. Let it come first, we'll see what happens later.
Yeah, Shravan, we have an opinion that, we could have implemented in the upcoming 5 state elections also. But yes, today, now, whatever is done, and I also wanted to read out. We have expressed our views in the past 3-4 days. But at this point in time, on behalf of BRS party, I just wanted to read out my party working president, Honorable Minister KTR's viewpoint on this. There are certain occasions when we have rise above politics, stand together on issues that matter in the larger interest of the country. Today, I am proud as an Indian citizen that our parliament has taken into consideration the passage of Women Reservation Bill, and my wholehearted compliments to all involved, and delighted and proud that BRS party leadership, as directed by Honorable CM KCR, also has made many efforts to make it thus far. As you mentioned, Kavita ji also has done, her best to keep up the momentum of this bill. She has done a hunger strike, one-day hunger strike in Delhi, where 12 political parties are involved, participated in it. Then we have conducted a roundtable meeting. Then we have written letters to all the 47 political parties who have representation in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Then our Chief Minister, Honorable CM KCR, has written a letter to the Prime Minister and all political parties to, come together to pass this, Women Reservation Bill. Now it's up to the central government to keep the momentum up and, ensure the census part and the delimitation part and the implementation of the reservation bill. And once again, congratulations to all
Reddy,
of you. And this is the longest debate, rather.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I'm sorry to... Mr. Reddy, I'm sorry to interrupt you because we're just getting us those latest visuals from inside the parliament. As I can see, this is at Hans Dwar in the new parliament, where you can see all the women BJP parliamentarians celebrating right now. In fact, the Prime Minister has also reached, is what I'm picking up. There are laddus that are being distributed. And why not? What a moment it is, Sujata, if you're there, what a moment it is where all of us are celebrating. This is not only about women empowerment, but the very fact that we as a nation, we're leaping ahead. And the fact of the matter is that it is time to perhaps break the shackles that existed all this while. And clearly, that has been embraced by everyone. I think that that's a great moment. Luckily, we don't have leaders who made those kind of parkati kind of comment. We've moved ahead of it. I think so we've come a long way, Sujata.
We have. See, the picture that you're sharing just now, Shravan. What a treat to watch this. One, every woman parliamentarian rose to the occasion, whether in government or in opposition, and then it took a man to bring this bill into reality. So here we are not doing any tug of war. What we see is a very inclusive India where the men also realize that the yahi samay hai or sahi samay hai. Because if we have to become the superpower, if we have to become the third largest economy in the world, women participation is must. And it must start from the political participation and policy making. I think a new era has begun, and it is going to have far-reaching consequences than one can ever imagine. You would see better policies in terms of the areas concerned with women, be it the marital rape, be it the menstruation, leaves, etc., maternity, also the safety and the security of the women across the states. Because one thing we have to realize that, after 75 years of independence also, we have got instances where we have felt, oh, this is not what we have really, wanted the woman to look like, whether it is in Manipur or whether it is in Rajasthan. So, I think that you will see a lot of that coming. But then, one thing is for sure, that the women are smart enough to also see the black sheep. They would not be forgetting who supported and who opposed. They would not be forgetting that Adi Abadi ko पूरा हक 27 साल बाद मिला, and still you had people trying to do latkana, atkana and bhatkana, because obviously the government had numbers. They could not do latkana or atkana, so they started doing bhatkana by playing the OBC card. But then I think where there's a will, there's a way, and the Modi government has time and again proved it, that it has the numbers and it has the political will, and it has stayed true to its manifesto. This women reservation bill was part of the 2014 manifesto, was part of the 2019 manifesto, and one by one it's been done. I think the next step, I think all the women across the country must be thinking that the census must be done ASAP in a time-bound manner, and the delimitation process be done so that we see more and more participation, so that we don't see a politician making such lewd comments as parkati mahilaएं आ जाएंगी और घर जाके खाना बनाओ सरकार तो हम चला लेंगे, and things like that. Across the party lines we've had such moments. So I think this is a historic moment. We are indebted. I think the women of this country are indebted that there is a government who just doesn't promise or writes things in the manifesto, but also delivers it. We saw it in 370, we saw it for Ram Mandir, now we are seeing it for the women reservation. There was a time when we say, oh, at the stroke of midnight, India received independence. Today is another historic day where we say at the stroke of the midnight, we see a picture where India is truly living up to Yatra Naritre Pujante Ramante Tatra Devata. I think we yes.
You've said it you've put this in a very beautiful manner. The stroke of midnight, I think so. This is another independence that we are really looking at. We'll slip into a short break in a while. We're getting in a live reaction from inside the parliament. Sujata and Syed Abbas, hold on. I'll just take that live reaction coming in from inside the parliament, and then I'll come back to you.
And virtual sweets to all of you.
वो बहुमत से पास हुआ है। बहुत प्रतीक्षित था। ये ऐतिहासिक विजय है महिलाओं का। खासकर मैं तहे दिल से शुक्रगुजार हूँ मेरी पार्टी के नेता माननीय मुख्यमंत्री नवीन पटनायक जी का, जो हमेशा महिला आरक्षण बिल के ऊपर अपना मत देते थे, कैसे ये पास किया जाए, हमेशा कार्य करते थे। जब भी संसद का अधिवेशन होता था, सांसदों को बुला के उनका पहला एजेंडा था कि महिला संरक्षण बिल कैसे पास किया जाए। ये उड़ीसा का भी बहुत बड़ा योगदान है। माननीय मुख्यमंत्री, मैं तो सोचूंगी क्या, मैं तो बोलूंगी, ये उनके द्वारा दिखाया गया मार्ग पे आज महिला संरक्षण बिल का पास हुआ।
Okay. Syed Abbas, I think so you've had some moment to rethink, reset. I think, whether at all, is this the time to really talk about OBC reservation? Is it the time to really talk about when will it be implemented? Because it has its own process. But today, right now, this very moment, I think so every Indian should be extremely proud of. What about you, Syed Abbas?
करोड़ों बहनों की ओर से, परिवारों की ओर से, जिन्होंने अपनी बहू माताओं को प्रोत्साहित किया, बहुत बहुत बधाई।
And everybody has thanked him for bringing this enactment, making this, converting this bill into an act. Now this is the law of the land, and women have got their right after a long struggle. And we will all remember the contribution of the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi.
Achha. Well, history has been created, ladies and gentlemen. Women reservation bill adopted by both the houses, a thumping majority coming in from Rajya Sabha. It's now a reality. 33% reservation for women in Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha legislative bodies, and that is exactly why many are now calling, the BJP says it is because of the political will and the consensus that was built by Prime Minister Modi. There is, of course, that credit war that has erupted, but the fact of the matter is that finally, the respect that women of our nation deserve and their rightful place in the hallowed halls of the parliament, it is now secured, it is now guaranteed. It's that big story that we have been tracking on Republic TV. In fact, this is also going to be the story that we're going to track for you, viewers, tomorrow. That's all that we could pack in this edition.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's best 5G smartphone brand.
Powered by Amity University, ranked amongst the top 3 universities globally.
RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies over 200 years.